Hello and welcome to Lore Dump, the show where we take someone who hasn't played a game and we walk them through the full story. We're covering Clair Obscur Expedition 33 today, and it's quite nice because I'm actually alone in the studio. There's nobody here. It's just you and me, listener. So let's get started and tell a lovely...
I'm here! I brought my paintbrush!
Listen to him!
I have so many colors, I'm ready to paint!
I'm joined by Chase.
Hi.
And Neil.
Hey.
That's a shame. So, today we're covering Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Woo! Or sorry, should I say, Game of the Year 2025, Clair Obscur
Look at us
Expedition
covering
33.
an incredibly recent... This is... We're used to doing, not like old games, but like old...
Have we ever done this?
Have we ever done Clair Obscur Expedition 33? No, we have not, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we've never really done,
Well,
except for like WWE and stuff, we've never really done like a one-off game that isn't part of a wider franchise, which I think makes this quite fun. Like, there's no extra stuff which I'm sitting on. You know, all the information you get today is all the information that's available.
Yeah.
Now, I do think that there will be another Clair Obscur game one day.
Yes.
I think that this world can, or this world can be mined for more.
Based on what I have heard, and this is very spoiler free, is they do want to continue Clair Obscur as a franchise, whether it is continuous games in a universe, unsure. I've heard some thoughts that it might be similar to like a Final Fantasy, where each Clair Obscur is kind of its own thing.
So perhaps not another expedition.
Yeah, not Expedition 34.
It won't be. Yeah, it wouldn't be another expedition. Yeah, it'll be something
because
else.
they find what they were looking for in this one finally.
Who knows?
Maybe.
Can I say very quickly before we start? I know absolutely nothing about this game apart from the fact that this is like the 33rd of a deadly expedition that people volunteer for or are chosen for.
Perfect.
That's all I know. What I want to say is I have never before had to hold off so much on before playing a game before. This seems really me. The setting seems very much something I would enjoy. And it's the first, and it was on fucking sale recently. And I'm just like, no, because if I download it, I'll play it. Like, so I'm very excited to get this one done, go home today and download it.
Yeah. Now you know how I feel with a lot of the games that I'm told to hold off on that YouTube played.
I think you'll really love this, Neil. It won awards for a reason. It's got a stacked cast. It's a turn-based RPG by a new studio, a French studio called Sandfall Interactive. It is very French, and I don't mean that as a criticism or me being silly or you know mocking the concept. It is full chest French, and that's so interesting.
Le français c'est le meilleur, oui.
Sure, Lumiere is a location.
Yeah, to jump in really quick before we move on for like experience, I'm in a really, really weird space with this particular one. I have played Clair Obscur. I have played about 75% of Clair Obscur.
And I don't understand how you can get to the point you got to and not be desperate to finish the game.
We'll get to that. I mean, to be clear, I did not stop it out of any particular feelings for the game in any direction. It was just life got in the way, and I haven't had the chance to finish it yet. I do know, based on how, because I was talking to you through the entire time I was playing it, we have fairly diverging opinions.
Yes, we do. Yeah. I love this game 100%. I think you love the game 80%.
Yeah, this was not my personal game of the year. I understand why it was people's personal game.
What was your 2025?
Silksong.
Silksong was your 2025 game of the year.
Silksong was my game of the year. But
sure.
But like I do understand why it won, and I do understand. I have enough kind of personal gripes that kind of accumulate that it knocked off a few points for me. I think it feels a little rough around the edges. I don't think nearly as many of those will come through in a lore dump, because a lot of my gripes are very a brand new game studio's first game just feels a little bit rough around the edges kind of stuff.
Is no one going to ask me what my game of the year for 2025?
What was your game of the year?
My game of the year for 2025 was Yakuza 5, but just the Saejima portion.
and specifically only hunting the bear?
The whole thing, really.
Listen to the Yakuza episode, everybody. Okay, so we're just going to get started. This is a long one. It's a big swashbuckling adventure. So
There's
just
pirates? Is it a pirate game?
I wish they were pirates. That's the only thing this game's missing.
And that one's a pirate, and that one's a pirate, and she especially is a pirate with her feet out.
Part 1, Prologue. Lumiere, a city at the end of the world. A structure that looks like the Eiffel Tower is bent over, as if it was frozen as it melted. Red and white petals and confetti blow absently in the wind as we see red and white bunting strung up. In the distance, across a stormy ocean, is a huge monolith. An ominous number is carved into it, 34. As a delicate French melody plays, we see our main character, Gustave, standing awkwardly on a rooftop. Gustave is played by Charlie Cox, Daredevil's actor. And there's been a running gag that he looks just like Robert Pattinson. You'll see him properly in a minute.
He does a little bit.
Yeah.
I saw a clip today, this morning, of Charlie Cox.
We saw the same one, I think.
On TikTok saying that he wants there if they do a movie, Robert Pattinson plays the character and he does the voiceover, like to fully 100% keep it accurate.
And bless him, he only recently played Clair Obscur for the first time.
He's not very interested, is he? He didn't show up to any of the awards or anything, did he, Charlie Cox?
He's not very interested in gay.
He's homophobic. You heard it here first.
Charlie Cox is homophobic, confirmed. So
Daredevil Catholic vibes.
Our main boy, Gustave, he's our main character. He stands awkwardly on a rooftop. He's examining flowers, trying to pick the right one. His scruffy beard and mop of hair sits in contrast to the blue suit he's wearing, dressed up for an event. His left arm is a robotic prosthetic. If you're going to get someone flowers, a girl's voice sounds behind him, you should probably do it before they wither and die.
Best girl. Best girl.
This is Maëlle, red hair, striped top. She's 16 years old. She's voiced by Jennifer English, who plays Shadowheart in Baldur's Gate 3. So it's that sort of sound. She basically uses her Shadowheart voice for this.
Pretty similar, yeah.
It's a very iconic sound, her voice. Gustave gives a dark grin. Before the flowers wither and die, or Sophie? Maëlle laughs. Dark? Sophie would approve. Gustave picks up a pebble and tosses it into the distance, lost in thought. Have you tried throwing with your other arm instead? Maëlle asks. If you could hit the Paintress directly, that would actually be useful. Hobbies don't always have to be useful, Gustave replies. I'm actually not going to give him an English voice because I'm terrible with English, and there's another character coming up that I don't want to differentiate, so he's just going to be my voice. Hobbies don't always have to be useful, Gustave replies. I'm enjoying the uselessness of today and readying my usefulness for tomorrow. His smile drops as he eyes the monolith in the distance. Besides, soon I'll be doing a lot more than throwing rocks. There's a long pause between them. Maëlle folds her arms. That's what all the other expeditionists said too. Hey, Gustave turns and looks at her with fierce sincerity. You know they gave their lives to lay the trail for us, right? A sad silence hangs between them. It's clear that these two are thick as thieves. Maëlle has seen Gustave as a brother for years. She's protective of him. Finally, to break the silence, she says with a forced file, You've still got a flower to give, right? Gustave looks at a red rose, the perfect rose. What do I even say to her on the day of the gamage? Sun's about to set, so if I were you, I'd be direct. I can't believe she's already turned 33. Maëlle winks. She looks younger than you.
Wow.
What's the there?
So it's your age. These people who go on the exhibition are all 33 or 34. I can't remember which one this is. 33. Is that it?
You'll learn.
And what did you call the name of the thing?
The event, the Gommage.
The Gommage.
Gommage, yeah.
D'accord.
The pair set off into town. We see a festival has been set up with stalls to buy treats from, children playing games, musicians playing for small, intimate crowds. A small percentage of the townsfolk wear red flower necklaces. Strangely, we see a thick, chromatic substance that seems to have spilled all over town. Shades of blue and grey. Nobody questions it. Maëlle leaves Gustave to meet Sophie alone. She's volunteering to help guide children who are losing their parents to the nearby orphanage, those who weren't registered for foster families. Gustave finds Sophie, laughing quietly with a couple of friends, adorned with a red beret and a necklace of flowers. So the idea is that numerous people have given her flowers throughout the day.
But none a perfect rose.
None a perfect rose. He holds the rose out. It's for your necklace, if there's room. There's always room, she smiles, accepting it with a tender hand. A sad air hangs between the pair, and then they burst into conversation that overlaps awkwardly. So much to say in so little time. Through it, Gustave tries to find his words. You know how I feel. I wish things had been, often, I think, still can't finish your sentences, can you? Sophie grins. I'll miss that. We will break the cycle, he promises. So she can't steal anyone else's future. Gustave, Sophie says, punching him gently on the shoulder. Stubborn people change the world, and you're the most stubborn person I know. He walks her to the harbour, his body tense. I'm fine, she says, seeing how stiff he is. I've lived a good life, a good 33 years. I've had my whole life to prepare. We are all fine. Mostly. I'm not fine, he sighs. Sophie fixes him with a sympathetic look. You will be. Some children come running... Oh my god, I'm tearing up already.
Stop that.
Some children come running up to us with a package. You see, Sophie's a school teacher and she gave them some very special homework. A new coat for Gustave. The left sleeve has been shortened so he doesn't need to keep rolling it up for his prosthetic
These are
arm.
fucking talented kids. They look about 5.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Kind of everybody in the town in some way have some form of craftsmanship about them. It's almost like, for reasons that we'll go into, it's almost like they've kind of been forced to grow up quite quickly.
So I'm now getting that actually everyone dies at 34. Like that movie, or like, is it in Soylent Green, or what is the one where after 30 everyone dies?
I will say I don't have this in the script, but it's a funny little moment where there's a man in a bin. Gustave, there's just a man in the bin. So as Gustave, you can walk over to a nearby bin.
Oscar the Grouch, sorry.
It's kind of Oscar the Grouch. You walk over to a nearby trash can, and it's just like Gustave examines the bin. Nothing happens. If you examine it like 3 times, eventually you just hear a voice come out the bin going like, "They won't get me today. If I'm in the trash can, the garbage can't get me."
I fully missed that. I missed that.
And then you get like an upgrade currency or something from him. It's so silly. But yeah. I wish I'd kept it because it is very silly. A golden piece of cloth is wrapped around the jacket that they've made for him. The number 33 has been sewn in. "This is your legacy," Sophie smiles. "Well, in a way, it's yours too," Gustave says with a small tear in his eye. The people of Lumiere gather at the harbour, and the gommage begins. The skies darken. In the distance, the monolith beckons. That glinting number 34 shines out. Gustave takes Sophie's hand and stares hard at the monolith as the sun disappears and the skies are coated in inky blackness. With no light to distract them, the people of Lumiere see her emerge. The Paintress. A humongous, titanic woman with a long cloak and flowing hair that hangs over her face. She steps out from behind the monolith, half of its size, and raises a paintbrush into the air.
Can I actually modify what you've just said a little slightly? She doesn't come from behind the monolith. She is all year sat right in front of the number. She sits there. They can see her the whole year as a looming reminder that she is there. And she just stands up on the day of the gommage.
With a wave of her hand, the number 34 vanishes, replaced by the number 33.
Jesus.
Gustave takes a deep breath as Sophie starts to cry. He looks behind him and sees 5 people evaporate into red petals. Wow. On Sophie's left, another 5 disappear. Nobody puts up a fight. Everyone knows that it would be useless anyway. Soon, dozens of Lumiere's townsfolk fade into petals, cast to the wind. Everybody aged 33 fades into the ether. It's beautiful and terrifying, a macabre display of death that you can't look away from. Gustave and Sophie look into each other's eyes. He squeezes her hands gently. "I'm here," he whispers. "I know," she chokes. "I know." Sophie's being joins the others as Gustave silently cries, cast into the sky, gone forever. As he falls to his knees, the 67th gommage ends.
The 67th gommage, so the first year it was just a few 100-year-olds.
Yes,
wow.
A 199, so on and so forth. So there's nobody in Lumiere that's over 33.
If this gets down to 12 and under, she's won. I mean, there's just they're
running out of time.
This is squeaky bum time for whoever she is as well, because it's like fuck. They're really motivated. They're all in their prime.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're all in their prime. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
This is depressing.
So let's explain. I've got a full kind of monologue to fill you in because otherwise we're going to be here for ages.
Please.
67 years ago, we learned about this through collectibles and over the course of the story. I'm just giving you this bit up front. 67 years ago, something called the fracture happened. The world exploded, the laws of physics turned upside down, and the vast majority of humanity died, scattered to the winds. Lumiere stands as the last city of men. Every year since then, the mysterious Paintress counts down by painting a number on her monolith. 100, 99, 98, so on. The number she puts on the monolith is, and she started at 100, to be clear. The number she puts on the monolith is the age of the people who will be gommaged, killed. Their bodies magically evaporate into dust and flowers. Right now, everyone in Lumiere is under the age of 33. If they're going to stop the Paintress, they're running out of time. In year 100, the people sent out an expedition. Okay, so I've written here to take on the Paintress. It's more when the fracture happened, that original expedition was more just to try and find people that had been like scattered through the fracture, and they learned about the Paintress while they were out there. Their job was to sail across the sea and slay her. Lumiere sits on an island. 67 expeditions have gone, yet to succeed. Only the first expedition, Expedition 0, had survivors.
Wow.
I'm going to elaborate on that later.
I'm really curious, in retrospect. because I'm not sure if you remember when I played this, I didn't realize what the gommage was until people started turning into petals.
Oh no, yeah, I think you're not necessarily supposed to.
I because you picked up pretty immediately that they were about to go. I don't know. I don't think I realized that until like it happened, and I remember it like hit me like a fucking. I remember texting you. I think it was in all caps. Like, what the fuck is happening?
I think you pick up enough from like a lot of the conversations that you can piece together that initially you start off thinking exactly what you thought. This is the expedition. Sophie's going to sail off from whatever the expedition is. And then you piece together through the chats quite quickly, oh no, this is worse. And you don't know what it means and what it is, but
I feel like I read a lot of fantasy books but also this is the kind of thing with Lore Dump where you're getting such a concentrated version of events that I think it is easier to pick up the vibe.
100%. You got to be careful with your language when you do these, otherwise you give twists away. So, only Expedition 0 had survivors. Now, a quick thing on the magic system. The whole game has an aesthetic of visual art running through it, particularly paint. The energy that runs through the world is called chroma. It's basically a life force. It's in the air, in people, and that can be harnessed into casting spells and the like. When someone dies, be it from the gommage or if a piano falls on your head, your chroma is released back into the world. I don't know why that specific example, but that's what I wrote. The magic system basically lets characters tattoo glyphs onto themselves, and those glyphs let them cast spells. Those spells vary from summoning weapons like swords out of thin air to blasting fireballs. Importantly, though, you can only have 3 tattoos at any one time. The human body simply can't handle more. Why is this important? Gustave has spent the last 4 years working on an invention that will give his expedition, Expedition 33, an advantage in their quest to kill the Paintress. A small gizmo called a Lumina Converter. The converter will let him and anyone else who uses it master more than 3 powers. It's all gameplay stuff, but it shows that Gustave's obsession with stopping the Paintress once and for all. For now, that's all you're getting. Back to the actual story. Later that night, the Festival Expedition begins. It's not a festival, barely a gathering. The only people who have shown up are merchants, tight-knit loved ones, and people dressed in clothes just like Gustave's, with the number 33 on the arm. The people of Lumiere have lost faith in the expedition. Anyone can join, but typically the only people who volunteer are people like Gustave, who will be gommaged the following year. So it's like it's your last year to live, might as well go on the expedition. If you die, at least you've lived a life. Gustave just wants to mourn Sophie, but his fellow expeditioners won't let him do it alone. We meet Lucien, a man who thinks Gustave shouldn't be by himself after a gommage. Catherine, who thinks Lucien needs to back off. Ciel, who thinks Gustave should just get drunk on adult juice. She's handing out bottles of wine. Tomorrow comes, she says, but it ain't here yet. I'm not crossing the sea sober. We also meet Lune, my favourite, who's sitting off to the side from the revelers, tinkering with her equipment.
Are the shiny things on her arms, are those the tattoos?
Yes.
Right.
And she has been working with Gustave on the Lumina Converter. The two of them are they're both very, very
brainy.
Clever. Brainy. Brainy is a good way to describe it. She's brainy in a different way. We'll talk about it in a sec. So we also meet Lune, who's sitting off to the side from the revelers, tinkering with her equipment. Just like Gustave, she's obsessed with stopping the Paintress. Like, there's wanting to stop the Paintress, and then there's whatever the hell Gustave and Lune are. It's like their whole lives are just dedicated to it.
I have to confess to our audience that this year I watched Attack on Titan for the first time. How old am I? I'm 31.
I think so.
Jesus. As a 31-year-old. So not the target age. I feel like the perfect age to have watched it would have been 16, having finished it now. But it was very good. But I'm kind of transposing a lot of this onto like last bastion of humanity. There's a giant monstrous figure that's, anyway. But I'm sort of comparing what you're saying about the two of them as, there are the people who are in the scouts because it's a job and a thing to do, and then there are and then you've got a couple of your main characters who are obsessively rage driven.
To be clear, Neil,
they're sending the scouts out on their last camping
trip. This is just Attack on Titan.
The reason why I'm introducing them.
Oh, see, you were thinking Attack on Titan scouts. I was thinking like Boy Scouts.
No. Why would I have meant Boy Scouts when I was talking about Attack on Titan?
Because I have not seen it in a while. I forgot that what they're called.
Yeah, sorry. So to be clear, this is why I'm into.
Kumbaya, my lord.
It's a typical RPG. So I'm introducing your party.
Yes.
You've got Lucien, you've got Catherine, and Lune. You're going to learn more about them all as we go, but yeah, just to kind of lay the foundations now that this is who we've got. So while Gustave was working on the Lumina Converter, Lune was focusing on logistics, geography. She's been able to figure out where the first ever expedition landed when they set off to kill the Paintress. He also meets the boys that Sophie taught. They give him a notebook and ask him to record everything he sees. Gustave laughs and promises to write of his grand adventures. Finally, we find Maëlle. She's volunteered for the expedition.
No.
I know we've been over this, Gustave mutters, but as your guardian, I need to say it one more time. The rest of us only have a year left, but you've got 9 good years before your gommage. You don't need to leave yet. 1 year out there is better than 9 more in here, Maëlle says. She means it.
Oh gosh, I was just doing the maths and I'm like, of course,
Time runs out.
every year it's getting less. So she'd be 25 or
somewhere around there.
Oh god.
Yeah. Like a baby born today would barely make it to 16.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah. And again, you're going to get to the point where the risk of going to biology and stuff, but like you're going to get to the point where they simply can't make more. They can't have more babies.
Just to check, because maybe this was a misunderstanding on my part, are they all Sophie students? I thought they were his students.
No, Sophie's the school teacher. He comes by to help, but he works in the greenhouses and stuff, remember?
I fully thought
The
they
aqua
were,
farms.
I fully thought that they were his students.
No, like he comes by to visit because they Neil. We don't go into it with Sophie, but
it's not really important. I just
the implication is that they used to date him and Sophie, and then they fell out and stuff, and yeah. Anyway,
His obsession.
That's literally what it was that
yeah.
drove them apart. Yeah. So he's like, you got 9 good years. She's like, 1 year out there is better than 9 more in here. She means it. I'm not like you. I have no friends, no family. Lumiere's not my home. Not the way it is for you. Soon, the time comes for Expedition 33 to set sail. The voyage doesn't take long. About 24 brave souls journey across a black inkwell of an ocean and eventually arrive on the mainland to begin their expedition. A simmering fog lies over the beach as they leave their ships. It's dead. Nothing but the wrecks of past expeditions dredged up on the sand. That's to be expected, but what isn't is the sharp, echoing knock, knock, knock they can hear deep in the mist.
Oh, I love that. That is my level of creepy.
Yeah, I kind of wish I had it as a sound effect because it echoes. It's so good. A man steps out of the gloom. He's
Gustave?
old. He's old, smartly dressed with an overcoat hanging from his shoulders.
Of course, they all wear the same clothes.
A scar over his right eye. That thunderous knocking sound is coming from the cane he carries, booming as he connects it with the ground. One of the expeditioners steps forward. You're old. How did you survive the gamache? The old man says nothing, just casts his eye over the group. What expedition are you from? Ah! With lightning speed, the old man draws a sword from his cane, whips it through the air, and cuts the expeditioner's head off.
Not someone we know.
Not someone we recognize.
Whew, thank God. Goodbye, unnamed expeditioner.
Yeah. Time slows as it drops. Gustave reflexively puts an arm out to shield Maëlle. A beat, and then chaos. Fall back! Boom! The old man extends an arm and bolts of lightning shoot ahead, colliding with the ground. Craters erupt all along the beach. Expeditioners explode. Gustave is blasted back and loses Maëlle. Through the haze, he sees Lucien and a couple of the others taking cover near an overturned rowboat. What the fuck was that? Lucien roars, gasping for air. Gustave tries to get his bearings, but before he can, thoom! An expeditioner is ripped out from behind cover and pulled into the darkness. We hear the snapping of bones pound out over Lucien's screams. Run! Through an impossible battlefield, Gustave runs in a daze, struggling to comprehend the sounds of death all around him. Where's Maëlle? Lune? Ciel? Anyone? Come on! Lucien shouts. Gustave, you gotta step out of crunch! Something falls out of the fog and crushes him. Dead.
Lucien.
Gustave stumbles back and looks up to see a strange monster towering over him. It looks like two well, do you want to describe it as best you can?
It's sort of, from what I can see, it's huge. And you've got, is that sort of rocky hands over a sort of face of light. Yeah.
They're like, so it's two gigantic grey hands fused together at the wrist. A billowing cloak, the fingers move. The billowing cloak pulses around it. The fingers wiggle, a pulse of light sparks at their tips, and it shrieks as it hurls a bolt of light straight at Gustave. Everything goes dark. Prologue over.
Wow.
Yeah, good opening, right? Yeah. It's just fucking like sadness and mystery and tragedy.
So many questions.
I love as well when the old man appears. It's like, you get like, because they're like celebrating on the boat and they look like actually kind of excited to be going on this expedition.
Yeah, it's an adventure.
And there's a lot of they're going off on an adventure and they land and then
Before
you
it even starts.
And then you like black screen with one thump.
Yeah.
And then you see them chatting, happy, walking onto the beach. Thump, black screen. More happy chats. Thump, then him. And it's just complete tonal wall.
Yeah.
I will tell you more about who plays that man later. I'm choosing my words carefully right now.
They do an excellent job
know
of.
who plays it.
Oh, do you not?
I don't.
I'm going to say
I didn't know that was relevant.
There you go. You can have a nice
actor.
surprise.
Interesting.
They do a very good job of like Chase said, save yourself and you'll get a nice surprise.
Yeah, no, you will. Yeah, let yourself be surprised because it is fun.
You get a nice. They do a really good thing of like Chase was saying. You get these adventurous souls who are excited to see a new place. Probably we've lived in the same city our whole lives, and it's like the absolute last thing you could expect to see.
I will say,
here's an old man that looks suspiciously like old Gustav.
Yeah. It's interesting as well because I did kind of skirt over it, but to be clear, the people of Lumiere, it's like they're going to a fantasy land, a fairy kingdom, because they have stories which have come back from Expedition Zero. And Expedition Zero said, we saw this.
Did Expedition Zero get people made it back?
The only ones. So they kind of, it's not that they know what to expect, but they have this idea, this fantasy world and what to look out for, and because of just the writings of the expedition. Act 1, Gustav. Or Part 2, Spring Meadow. Caked in the blood of his friends, Gustav wakes in the dirt. There's nobody around. He's no longer on the beach. Instead, he's in a lush forest. Where is he? Who is that man? How is he so old, and why did he attack? There's only one option: keep moving. The plan was that if anything happened, they were to regroup at a location called the Indigo Tree, deep in the forest. He sets off. Saturated greens and twinkling blues guide the way, leading him to a strange creature. Gnarled branches have roped around sharp armor. This is your combat. It wields a staff. A pulsing blue magical light sits where its head should be. We call these things Nevrons. They are effectively our enemies. They come in all shapes and sizes. Cool. They come in various different forms, from ice giants to squiggly guys.
Are they all do they all have this through line of the kind of blue magic-y?
Not all of them. Okay. A lot of them, but not all of them.
Which is actually something that I asked you later on because I thought they were meant to.
And are we
and
meant?
Then they stopped.
It's just monster design.
Are we meant to pick up through visual design, or is it maybe just parallel that this is the magical essence that you talked about before? That this is, or is that maybe
1,000,000%?
Yeah.
We will get into it, but yeah, they have chroma in them.
Chroma.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah.
Thank you.
We'll talk about that. So, or do they? We'll see. And then one example is what's going on.
Sorry, took my keys out of my pocket and they fell off my bag.
That's fine. One example that we have are the mimes.
Oh no.
Not much is known about Nevrons, except A, Nevrons did not exist before the fracture, and B, when they kill you, your chroma stays in your body. It doesn't get released like, if a piano fell on your head.
So you're basically not going to heaven.
Less about that and more like, so chroma's kind of like the energy and the life force of the universe and the world. So it's like
so
if you
it
die...
needs to return, really. In the natural world, energy should be returned to the world.
It's kind of typical fantasy stuff where it's like, if you die, it's very Final Fantasy, that what's it called, the life stream or something. Where
Final Fantasy 7 at least.
It returns to the world. Whereas in this, if a Nevron kills you, it stays in your body. Mm-hmm. So mimes. Do you want to talk about mimes, Chase?
Oh, mimes are interesting. This is one of the things that I wanted to ask.
They are the worst.
there is a singular mime in Lumiere who you can kill in Lumiere as like a combat tutorial. They appear frequently and just kind of randomly. There's like at least one per zone.
They're special enemies.
They're special enemies. You kill them generally to get your cosmetics because you can get cosmetics, and usually you get them from the mimes.
I show some later.
If I remember right, the mimes are usually wearing the cosmetic.
Sometimes, yeah.
And they have 2 attacks and about 5 billion health.
Yeah.
Wow.
And none of them are hard fights. They are just absolute endurance matches.
Cool.
And they're fun for like the first 2. And then you get fights where you have to fight like 4 at once and it's a fucking pain in the ass. And every single time they start every fucking thing with honk with their hammer building up a fake brick wall.
It's a lot. Yeah, the brick wall.
You need to break through because break is a mechanic. You have a break bar and you need to break through their brick wall before you can actually start doing real damage. And none of them are hard. They have 2 attacks. I'm not sure if you've not explained how the combat works yet. You can do that.
I don't have it listed. You're welcome to talk about it.
Oh, grand. Okay, so the combat generally, it is turn-based, but it has kind of some dynamics.
I think I know a little bit about. There's a parry system along with the turn-based, right?
Yeah. So there's a parry system. There's things like you mentioned the little glowing orb. They have weak points where you have a gun. Yeah, you can see aim there. Or some people shoot magic. You have a ranged weapon of some sort. And you can shoot their weak points, and that might do additional break damage. And then there's, you can parry, and parries might do additional break damage. You can dodge. Dodge is, obviously the same, but just has a smaller window, and you don't get a riposte.
Each of your party members, I love the combat system. There are some issues. I think some of the parry timing is a little bit skew with for some of them.
Inconsistent.
Inconsistent is a great word
the
for
main
it.
issue I had throughout the game, and I complained about this to you and a few of my other friends who were playing it the entire time, is it's inconsistent on whether it is a visual cue, an audio cue, how much timing you have between that. The game isn't always the best optimized, so trying to hit an exact timing window is really difficult sometimes I had to have like 5 performance mods on it to even come close for some of these enemies.
One of the things that is really cool though is that each of your characters, and I'm not going to get into them with each of them. I a couple of sentences for each, but each of the characters plays very differently.
Yeah,
they're all turn-based, but each party member has, quite deep systems that
we love it.
interact with each other sometimes. But you have to almost understand the meta of how they work.
Yeah.
Really cool. Like on the right-hand side here, you see that Gustav has an overcharge mechanic where this is a nice simple tutorial ability, but if you do damage, do anything, it goes up and then you get to 10, boom, big massive attack. That's pretty standard, but some of them get quite complicated.
Nice.
And, it's really
And you
cool.
mentioned cosmetics. I'm expecting, with this being a French game, that there are some excellent design choices.
so
fuck
good.
you if anybody wears anything that isn't the baguette outfit, you're doing the game wrong. Everybody in your baguette outfit.
Disagree entirely. I will show
Wrong.
you the good outfits later.
I have a friend who was just down in London a couple weeks ago at the Expedition 33 Orchestra and has said he has never. That's the baguette outfit, but
it's your French mime outfit.
it's your French mime outfit. You have a baguette strapped to your back like it's a backpack.
Little red beret.
A little red beret. He said that he's never, like almost everybody at that concert was wearing the baguette outfit.
Yeah, not to resort to stereotype, I was expecting good costume design from
There is
this
some
studio,
incredible
parce-
costumes.
Parce que les Français sont très élégants, très élégants.
Yes. If you do speak French, let me know what Neil just said.
I don't. but
Very
I can say
elegant?
a few, yeah, like very stylish.
Stylish. The style's great. Look at this suit.
There are a lot of great outfits, especially some of the DLC ones.
So, regardless, because Gustav, he summons a fencing sword and his unique weapon, a gun engraved with glyphs.
Strapped
His
up.
unique weapon, a gun.
A gun! It fires magical bullets.
Get the Glock.
He blows the Nevron away and continues on, following a trail.
He's a fucking clip into the Nevron.
Straight into the mime's head.
What now, bitch?
Gustav blows the Nevron away and continues on, following a trail to some mutilated corpses.
Oh, no.
The bodies are piled high in a nearby cave. He sees Catherine, dead. Her body is caked in blood. Gustav closes his eyes, gives an accepting, depressed sigh, and sits on the ground next to them.
Oh, I thought the image you were sharing, which is very harrowing. He saw his own dead body, and I was.
Oh,
yeah.
sorry, no, he is sitting next to her.
Yeah.
Now he's taking a moment. He pulls out his gun with a shaky hand and places it to his temple. He closes his eyes with quivering breaths and puts his finger on the trigger. You do that, we both die, a matter-of-fact voice says. Gustav opens his eyes, but his stare is dim, detached, disassociated. Fucking hell, the voice says. A woman's voice. Hey, Gustav, wake up! The voice belongs to Lune, the raven-haired expeditioner, the logistics one, the one who is furiously tweaking her equipment to the festival and checking her maps. Lune, Gustav breathes. The others, I know, Lune says softly. We're the only ones left. You don't get to die. Look around, Gustav says, waving blindly at the corpses. We're already dead. That is not a foregone conclusion, Lune says, her tone hardening. When one falls, we continue. Get up! We need to find a safer place before the Nevrons find us.
For those who come next, baby.
For those who come next, tomorrow comes. Gustav curses, climbing to his feet. Putain. Which means, Neil? As our French expert?
Putain is like fuck, basically.
Yeah.
No. It's a delicious dish of chips covered in like gravy and cheese curds.
Yes.
Yeah, but putain is more of a I don't know the literal. People use it like fuck, but I think people use it more as a noun. You know, you
Yeah.
can describe someone as putain.
But I don't think something can be like a putaning, you know.
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. French experts
I don't know
help us
because
out.
we've got that word in Scotland that we don't say on this podcast because we get demonetized. And in Greece they have malaka, which is like literally I think is like asshole, but it does get used as an adjective. Like look at this malaka thing, or you know. So
true. Okay.
swear words are beautifully versatile.
God, I love swearing.
Yeah.
Fuck you, YouTube. The pair fight their way out of the forest, Gustav leading the assault while Lune casts elemental spells. Fire explodes from her fingertips. Ice pours from her palms. So that's her whole shtick. She is your mage sort of character.
Yeah. Okay.
With every Nevron they cut down, one thing becomes clear. Gustav's Lumina converter works. They hadn't been able to test it in the field before now. Nobody was really sure it would, but this hasn't all been for nothing. Seeing his invention work, Gustave's hope starts to bloom anew. As they work through the woods, they find the remnants of other expeditions, those who came before. The bodies are a grim sight, decomposing over the years, killed by Nevrons or worse, but in a way that gives Lune and Gustave further hope. I said decomposing, and that's actually incorrect, because the chroma stays in their bodies, so they don't decompose.
Wow.
They turn almost into like stone statues.
Stone statues, yeah, it's a good way to describe it. They're all quite preserved, is a good way to think about it.
I have a quick practical question about, you mentioned Lune and the spells there and the converter.
Yeah.
And obviously that serves as a functional thing, presumably, so you can get more spells and abilities.
Yeah.
So in terms of Lune, does that mean basically she can have a bank of spells and equip a certain number at a time?
Everybody gets a lot of them. And the Lumina Converter, I mentioned it kind of just to show you a bit of kind of characterization.
Stuff,
but it's just pure gameplay stuff that. But yeah, no, Lune. It's not that Lune will like be covered from head to toe in tattoos by the end of the game. She's already quite covered. But yeah, the skill tree is very interesting. And I would argue, and I think we're very much agreed in this, that whilst it is fascinating and can become incredibly interesting, it doesn't really until the end game. They find the remnants of other expeditions. We find that, now to point this out, I'm not going to give you any of them to give you things to discover for yourself. But whenever you find a bunch of them because there's a bunch of expeditions before you. And each of them have diaries and diary entries. And you can learn about the specifics of each expedition. I've got a couple laced out, not diary entries, but a couple little fun details. Because some of them were really interesting. There was one of my favorites that isn't in this lore dump, which is I can't remember which one it was. It was like 98 or something, especially like one of the early ones, where they just went with no weapons. They just got so buff and they just went pure muscle strength and they got pretty far just beating the shit out of Nevrons.
Did they not reach the monolith?
I think they get
I'm
really
pretty sure
close.
they were one of the very few that got there.
Pure anime, that team.
Okay, so people do reach the monolith.
Oh, people get close, yeah. The bodies are a grim sight, killed by Nevrons or worse, but in a way that gives Lune and Gustave further hope. The plan was always to follow in the footsteps of the fallen, find their way to the lair of the Paintress. Every expedition they pass means progress. A strange message is carved into the indigo tree. 33, it says, took Mael to the weird corals, head north, look for a door inside a hut. Mael's alive, Gustave gasps. But that doesn't make sense, Lune mutters. Who would have written this? It sounds like an expeditioner, but everyone knows to sign their messages. This could be a trap. Who cares? Gustave cries. If Mael's alive, we have to find her. No, Lune shakes her head. Protocol is to regroup at the rally point and wait 3 days. Everybody knows the protocol. Protocol changes in the field, Gustave retorts. There is a reason that it's protocol, Lune says, her scientific mind taking over. We designed it to yield the optimal result in the vast majority of situations. Was our entire team dying part of the optimal result? Gustave. The mission. Fuck the mission. Fuck the mission, Lune. What, we're going to take down the Paintress ourselves with my gun and your sparks? I didn't take you for a coward. I'm not a coward. You swore the oath. When one falls, we continue. When one falls. Not if, when. We knew not all of us would make it, but we continue. Now is a good time to say that one of the ways to really get the most out of Clair Obscur is to figure out which character you are. We've talked about this with like Lost before. This is a story about grief and how we handle that grief. Every party member will deal with it in different ways. Gustave struggles with survivor's guilt. I think I am Lune. She pushes on with the plan, tries to focus her grief into something productive, even if that means she doesn't take stock of her emotions.
Yes, for sure, that's you.
Yeah. It's a coping mechanism. She's not just my favorite character because I fancy the hell out of her, which I do, but because she kind of makes me feel seen. And I know other fans feel the same way about other party members and about how they handle grief. This is a beautiful game and it is very funny in places. It is also incredibly fucking bleak, as you can already tell. And there's something to really get by the end of this if you can look back and go, oh, I think I'm this one.
Yeah.
And I think that's really nice.
I'm a Mael.
You're a Mael?
I'm a Mael.
I think you're a Mael.
Yeah.
The mind of a 16-year-old.
Wow.
I think... No,
it was right there.
I think you're Esquie.
Mael has the mind of like... Correct, but also shut the fuck up.
Gustave storms into the woods before pausing. Protocols also states, never move solo, he calls back. I'll let you decide which protocol to break. Merde, Lune spits following. They make camp. Before sleeping, Gustave starts to fill out his journal, remembering his promise to the boys back home. Part 3, the Choral Reef.
I also love at every camp they have a photogram. And I just love the thought that they have been carrying around a whole fucking massive photogram on their back.
You find vinyls.
With an entire table as well that they've just been carrying around on their back for this entire expedition.
Listen,
so you can just sit down and listen to the
we
beautiful
might be
score.
camping at the end of the world, but we're not going to be uncomfortable, okay?
We're not going to be uncultured. I think
It is the single and only creature comfort these camps. Otherwise, it is a very standard campsite, but they have like a full-ass photogram on a table, and it's very funny.
We hope and pray that the Paintress is the last artist the Frenchman has to kill.
Part 3, the Coral Reef. The Coral Reef is bizarre. Gravity works strangely here. Fish glide through the air. Skyscrapers of seaweed tower above us. It's like we're underwater. Despite herself, Looney smiles with wonder as she takes it in. Where did all this come from? Her mind whirs. It isn't long until they find the hut, sitting innocently in a vast opening. Gustav races ahead, ignoring Looney's calls to slow down. He pushes through to find a strange, ornate door, an impossible door that doesn't feel like it belongs to the hut or the reef, like the entrance to a grand manor. Gustav touches the doorknob and whoosh, in a burst of light he and Looney are teleported into the grand entrance of a beautiful, strange mansion. A grand staircase stretches up, paintings adorn the walls, depicting gorgeous vistas and creatures that look like the Nevrons that we've battled. Looney remains cautious, but Gustav hears music, racing deeper in. Maëlle? Maëlle, are you here? He finds her in one of the bedrooms. Gustav? Maëlle says quietly. Are you real? They run to each other, Gustav holding her tight, lifting her into the air. The tension washes from him as she hugs him back. Brother and sister reunited.
I'm still curious about maybe it was just a throwaway comment, but she made a thing about Lumiere isn't my home in the way that it's your home.
She's just always felt out of place.
Right, okay, so it's not literally she's a kind of one-off, like a refugee who made it from some desolate land.
She was born in Lumiere.
Got you.
Yeah, it's more just like Gustav has all these friends, and she's just always felt a bit kind of separate from everyone. Yeah. Oofed, Maëlle laughs. Well, you smell real enough. I'm sorry, Gustav gibbers. On the beach, I saw you, and when you were gone, I couldn't. It's okay, Maëlle says, squeezing his arm. We made it. Looney asks what she's doing here. How did she even get here? Maëlle doesn't know. She remembers the beach, and then suddenly she was here with him. A strange, decaying figure steps into the room. His body looks like it's carved from wood or stone, scratched and chipped away. In the center of his face is a black, smoking void. We call him the Curator. We learn this later, but you can learn it now. Cool. The Curator. Maëlle doesn't look scared as the figure arrives. He's been helping me. He reinforced my Pictos, her magic. What is he? Looney asks, frowning. I'm not sure. He doesn't really talk. Maëlle points out that there's something different about the Curator. He's not a Nevron. Silently, he beckons them to follow him, guiding the team to the entrance of the mansion. He opens the door, and they step back out into the Coral Reef. As the party start debating what they're going to do next, there's a rumble, a small earthquake, and a boom from out of the surrounding cliffs comes a tiny figure. This is Monoco.
What?
He is a Gestral. Strange wooden creatures with hair like a paintbrush. They're indigenous to these lands. The people of Lumiere have heard stories, but Gustav's shocked to see one in person.
I love
And
him.
were you going to talk about this in Lumiere with the... Yeah.
Yeah, there are some children that are running around playing games as if they are Gestrals.
Yeah. They've got like little paintbrush hats that
I
they're
love
wearing.
him. And for anyone listening along, this is literally like a little wooden puppet with a big square wooden face and a paintbrush kind of for hair, like the brush part for hair.
So I'm going to have to, for the sake of the lore dump, I'm going to have to give him a voice, but he doesn't speak English in the game. He just kind of goes, and then subtitles tell you what he's saying. So I'm just
you
going
can
to
speak in Simlish.
Everybody
Everybody understands Simlish.
So he goes, intruders! Oh, Verso would not be pleased. On guard, ruffians! Maëlle laughs. Stop that, you big hairy brush face. Can't you see they're human? It's clear that through her training with the Curator, Maëlle's become quite close with Monoco. Sorry.
How long has she been here?
Yeah, it's weird because, again, I'm kind of condensing all of this, but let's say a couple of days.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Who did he say wouldn't be pleased?
Verso would not be pleased.
Is that a new name?
That's a new name. That's the first time you've heard that name, yeah. It's clear that through her training with the Curator, she's become quite close with the little tyke. Sorry about that, she winks at Gustav. Monoco's a bit dramatic, but if you're nice, he'll trade with you. Monoco puts his hands on his hips. I don't just trade with anyone, only worthy warriors. He jabs a wooden finger at Gustav. Are you worthy mustache man? I think not, though I do like the brush on your face.
I'm going to tell that to my dad the next time I see him.
Yeah, mustache man. So the trading, so you find guys, Gestrals like Noco throughout the world, and if you find them, you can challenge them to a fight. They'll trade with you, but only if you beat them in combat.
Cute.
Yeah, you'll learn a bit more about the Gestrals culture later, but it's really cool.
What do I love? It's they'll trade for you by default, but if you fight them, you get their best items.
Their best items, yeah, because they only trade with good
which
warriors.
are very often cosmetics. Again.
Yeah. Again, there's a lot of cosmetics
because
in the game.
that's the real end game of any game is the cosmetics.
I agree.
Lune mutters, so the tales are true. If so, then perhaps the Grandee and Esquie are real too. She rounds on Noco. Are there more Gestrals like you? I'd love to meet them. Maybe, Noco says. The village isn't far from here, Mael grins. Gustav reminds Lune of her mission. Kill the Paintress, remember? But hearing that, Noco jumps in. How on earth are they going to kill the Paintress if they can't cross the sea? They don't have any fins, silly humans. There's another sea between here and the Paintress? Lune asks. I didn't prepare for that. But don't worry, Noco has a solution. The chief of his village has just the thing. All they need to do is ask. Guess we have our next stop. As the gang journey on, they find a beautiful clearing overflowing with flowers. Gustav sees a red rose growing amidst a sea of blue and green. He touches the petals gently, memories of Sophie coming through in waves, their last moments together, the moment when the Gamage took her from him. A hideous roar as a gigantic Nevron comes bursting out of the ground. Bursts of red, bristling hair cover its shoulders and neck. Two intricately painted masks sit on its face and torso. The team fight it back, and as it reels, injured, Mael steps forward. Something about the creature is drawing her. She squints at it, reaches out. The creature stares silently at her, and a beat before leaping away, retreating. Putain, Gustav says, shielding Mael from the rubble left in the creature's wake. Mael, what were you doing? There was something familiar about it, she says. The gang make camp. That night, Mael has a nightmare. A black and white scene. A bearded man with long hair brandishes a sword. Mael collapses to the ground, covered in blood, and screams in anguish at the Paintress waiting in the distance. She awakes with a start and tries to walk the nightmare off. She stops at a cliff edge and stares out at the monolith. A pebble flies past her, out toward the Paintress. Still too far, Gustav grins. Being out here isn't what I expected, Mael says quietly. As expected, Gustav gives her a small smile. You okay? Death out here's not like death in Lumiere, is it? I thought I was used to losing people, but... Life of a foster child, right? But not like that, not like the beach. And that man. I know, Gustav says, kicking the dirt. Nevrons we were prepared for, but not... And now we found other survivors, and it's... His voice trails off. That's the insidious thing about the Gamage. It's predictable, almost gentle. It makes the people of Lumiere complacent. But the Gamage is equally as violent, and death is just as final. Mael tells Gustav that she's been having nightmares. Gustav nods. Him too. Listen, he says. If death approaches, I want you to run. Promise me. Especially if we meet the man from the beach. We can't face him. You've seen him. If we see him again, you run. Mael hesitates and shoves him with a grin. Only if you do the same. Oh, I'm running as soon as I see a strand of white hair, trust me. You won't even see me, I'll be running so fast. Mael smirks. You're an old man. I can outrun you any day. I love it, the idea of 33's old.
Literally the oldest you can be.
Yeah. Off to the side of the camp, we see the curator watching over the trio as they sleep. This is one of my favorite bits. Part 4, Gestral Village. Ooh. The Gestral Village lies in the heart of a series of cliffs, overgrown by red, blossoming trees. It's an astonishing, fiery vista, littered with already dead Nevrons. Again, the world design is, we were talking about colours. Was it Ghost of Tsushima? Colours in this game as well. Just, such a pleasing game to look at.
It seems like a really good blend of, obviously, this is a game about grief. It's quite bleak, but there's also quite a lot of whimsy, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
And I can only assume that the Gestrals, as a race, are kind of a band of badasses that they've carved out in existence here.
They sure think they are.
I don't know. Look at all these dead
they
Nevrons.
Sure fucking think they are.
Well, yeah, you're right though. Yeah, look at all these dead Nevrons all around them. Yeah, they are kind of badasses. Yeah, they're fun.
Kind of.
As the team take in the carnage and bodies, distantly a siren starts to sound. Actually, I mean, they're kind of dorks for it. That's like the fun bit about it. Yeah, a chipper voice booms out to the wilderness. Nevron alert! Nevron alert! Nevrons, Gustav mutters. I don't see any. A towering Gestral tumbles out of the trees. Padded armor lines its body, wielding a club. This is kind of like a mech.
How did you pronounce this word? Because I don't think I ever pronounced it correctly.
What, Gestral?
No. What this is?
Oh, I don't remember what it's called.
It's like a patatier?
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, I've got it. Sorry, I do have it here.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's actually an easy pronunciation. I've got it. Padded armor lines his body, wielding a club. In the distance, he's backed up by strange weapons. The Gestrals are ready for war against any Nevron intruders. Gestrals are cute, but they're idiots, Mael mutters. They think we're the Nevrons. The gang beat back the huge Gestral, and a tiny blue and purple figure bursts out of it. Turns out what we thought was just a big wooden mech. They call it a sack of patate. Sack of patate.
It's a sack of potatoes.
It's a sack of potatoes. It's a sack of patate. Ah, the tiny Gestral mutters. Our sack of patate was supposed to be invincible. Mael smiles and crouches down to it. We don't want to hurt you. Noco sent us. Can you guide us to your village? Noco? The Gestral gasps. Noco sent you to help us build a better sack of patate. Wait. He eyes up Gustav's prosthetic arm. Ooh, what's this? Cool. He scratches his chin and thinks. Okay, deal. Give me the arm and I'll show you our village. I'll take you to the chef. The chef? The chef? Mael blinks. Whatever, show us your village, and maybe Gustav will make you something better than his arm.
Is it explained, or does it just not matter why they can understand them? They just
can.
Accept it, yeah.
They've just, I don't know, they just learned. Again, they're kind of speaking English, but it's just so muffled that you just can't understand.
Okay.
Yeah. The Gestral Village is bustling with life. Gestrals, great and small, hobble about, trading, bartering, chatting excitedly about an upcoming tournament. We pick up quite quickly that, culturally, Gestrals really love fighting. Every single Gestral we meet challenges us to a brawl in one way or another, whether that's a verbal sparring match or an actual one-to-one duel. We learn that this is, in part, because they can't die. If they're taken out, they're easily revived at the Sacred River. A couple of highlights of our time here. A little baby Gestral is furious because his older Patate says he's too small to fight Nevrons. He thinks that's dumb because when he was the elder Patate and he was the baby Patate, he never listened either. You know what? He's going to send his Patate off for a rebirth a little earlier than planned. Then he'll be the elder Patate.
These are brave patates, or should I say patatas bravas?
Wow!
There's also...
It's not even the right country.
Bringing a little Espanol into the mix.
There's also a Gestral who's painted his wood pink. He's been waiting a long time for this. A challenge fit for someone as powerful as him. You want a piece of this, big boy? Do you? All right then, let's dance! He starts breakdancing. He's one of my favorites. Chef Golgra awaits us in the chief's hut. There she is. She's big tower, big paintbrush.
I like that the paintbrush here, folks, is so long that it's tied again. There's another, the sort of metal ring you get at the top of the handle of a paintbrush. There's another one to tie it up in a kind of bun.
So cool. She's great. You can fight her a lot. She pops up as like optional battles if you want to and stuff. She's great. She's a good fight.
She's hard as shit.
She is hard as shit. She's all flippy and stuff. Yeah. She towers over us, a tall, slender figure with her brush hair pulled back. Around her are Gestrals doing synchronized push-ups. Whether that's how they show respect or it's just a training regimen she's leading is unclear.
I see. It could be a bow or it could be a workout.
You walk in there. She is impressed that we destroyed the sack of patate, but scoffs when we ask if she can help us cross the sea to get to the Paintress. Humans, she shakes her head, still obsessed with the Paintress. It seems a few other expeditions have passed through here over the years. When we tell her about how a white-haired man destroyed our current ship, she nods somberly. You survived. You have my respect. He attacked the village once. Some of us survived. Somehow. If you have no boat, your best bet is Esquie. If you ask nicely, maybe he can take you across the water. Lune gasps delightedly. So the stories are true? Esquie truly exists? Esquie lives not too far from here, but the way through is a closely guarded secret. You need a password, and only the greatest warriors know the password. You see, Esquie is very friendly, but Esquie could also accidentally eat you.
Oh.
The team point out that, hey, they beat the Gestral sack of patate, surely that makes them great warriors, but nope, not good enough. You'll have to enter our legendary tournament, Chef Golgra says. If you win, then you'll get the password. I'm not sure if Chef is her title or her first name, but...
I'm going with first name.
I'm assuming that they are meaning to say chief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they all call her chef.
Yeah.
Or at least that one does, and I think I've just run with it.
I think it's 100 times funnier, and I will be headcanoning that it is her first name.
Mrs. Chef Golger.
Mrs. Chef.
So, off to the tournament we go. It's a one-on-one duel. Gustav volunteers, kicking the ass of Gestrals big and small. We got Bertrand Big Hands falling quick under our strikes. Dominic Giant Feet is parried into oblivion. Matteo the Colossus is surprisingly tricky, but he's a bit of a sponge, but eventually he bites the dust. All that remains is the stranger. Every Gestral gathers for the climactic event. An electric buzz swirls through the air. Thum! The stranger lands in the center of the arena, arms raised high, drinking in the cheers. CL.
Mommy!
Wow.
Our last surviving member of Expedition 33. You might remember that at the festival, she was handing out bottles of wine. Gustav's mouth drops. CL? CL turns. Gustav, guys, you're alive? She rushes forward and grabs Gustav in a big hug. I thought I was the only one left. She's cut short by the Gestral announcer. Hey, humans, we're here to see some fighting. If you don't want to fight, we'll come down and do it ourselves. CL grins at Gustav. They're expecting a bit of a show, shall we? We duel her, and through the duel, we pick up that CL's moves are focused on a scythe and cards. She plays the cards to deal light and dark damage. It's a little complicated at first, but it gets very cool towards the end. It's all keeping track of like points, and it's all quite mathematical. It's cool. CL explains how she got here. After the beach, she just ended up in an odd yellow forest not too far from here. She's not sure how she got there. Everyone agrees that it's mysterious. It seems like somehow they were all teleported far from the beach in the middle of the fighting. Weird. Lune shuts down the chatter, straight to business. They've got a plan to follow. Let's get back to the chef. Golgora tells us the password. Get out of my way. CL sighs. Very Gestralish. Gustav asks CL what her plan was if she never found anyone. Just become a Gestral champion and fight in the arena? She gives a wicked grin. I mean, it was a lot of fun, so probably. There's a glint in her eyes as she says it. If Lune handles her grief by losing herself in a project, CL quips her way through it. They make camp and rest up for the night, preparing to meet Esquie tomorrow. That night, Maëlle has another nightmare. A monochrome vision returns. Maëlle opens her eyes to see a young girl staring back at her. Her face is scarred. Half of it is hidden behind a white ceramic mask. She has white hair. Who are you? Maëlle asks. The girl slowly extends a hand. Alicia. A dark, Andy Serkis-sounding voice whispers. Out of the gloom steps the man from the beach.
Is it Andy Serkis?
It's Andy Serkis.
I didn't know that.
The white-haired man is Andy Serkis. Yeah, he helped them with some of the mocap stuff and things, and he's got that Andy Serkis
And
growl.
of course he did the mocap as well. Of course he did.
Which explains why it
When
looks
does he not?
so good.
So this is our older man from the beach.
This is the man from the beach that killed them all, yeah. So he says, Alicia. Out of the gloom steps the man from the beach. I told you to stay home, he says to the masked girl. It's not good for you to see this. The girl, Alicia, looks at him and points wordlessly at Maëlle. Yes, the man says. I understand. It's her fault and she doesn't even know it. But you can't be here. He looms over Maëlle. You should never have come. You're only going to make things worse for everyone. Now take your friends and go home. Let them spend their final year in peace. This is your only warning. Flash. Maëlle bursts awake from the vision. The team gather around her. I saw him! It was him! The white-haired man! Maëlle, breathe, Lune says. What did you see? He said we need to go home and that is my fault. She bursts into tears. Panicked sobs rack her as Gustav holds her tight. Part 5. Esquie. Any early thoughts on what's going on, Neil? You're not, it'd be weird if you're able to kind of predict anything, but I'm curious what you're thinking of all this.
I mean, early thoughts, not so much theories. Obviously, we can assume that I kind of joked at the start because he's got a beard and long hair that the white-haired man looks a bit like an older Gustav, which we can say that's just the Lumiere style. Am I to assume that this is he was on one of the first expeditions, perhaps, or is this a timey-wimey thing, or is he unrelated at all? We can only assume that he's a human here. He was probably on an expedition at some point. And knows some terrible truth. The fact that it's Maëlle's fault, we can assume could be because, she's 16. I don't know why is she here.
And it's always a 16-year-old's fault. It's always their fault.
Bloody Gen Z. What I mean, though? It's like, He, for whatever reason, expected it all to be 30-year-olds coming over, 33-year-olds coming over.
That's a good point. Yeah, she is the youngest out of all of them.
I wonder about, I think sometimes when a game is really focusing you on hatred towards a kind of unknowable character or a currently unknown character, like the painter, the paintress, whatever.
The Paintress,
the Paintress, who we have only seen as a kind of terrible figure in the distance, once a year, literally changing a number. It kind of leads me to believe that that's probably not who we should be angry at. That seems like a creature fulfilling a function or somebody fulfilling a function. We've actually not seen intent or malice or so I'm kind of thinking that not that it's a misdirect, but that we don't obviously understand what's going on there. They have arrived here to go, we're going to kill this person. It's going to be a lot more complicated than that, isn't it?
I mean, she counts down and then everybody that age dies.
Oh, no, I understand the effects of it. But do you know what I mean, though? This is clearly a magical creature who just lies there the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Does that seem
wakes up from her slumber on her birthday?
Does that seem like a sort of genocidal maniac, or does that seem like a magical function taking place?
It is strange that if she was going to kill everybody, she would why
not just put it to one?
Yeah. Yeah, interesting. Okay. Part 5, Esquie. The next day, the gang arrive at the entrance to Esquie's nest. A Gestral guards the way. Golgar said to shout the password as loud as we can, CL says. She nudges Gustav. Go on, Gustav. You're the loudest. Gustav plants his feet firm, feels the pain and frustration of the past 3 days course through his muscles, and lets it all out in a frenzy. Get out of my way! Hey, the Gestral mumbles. No need to be so rude. What? Gustav starts. No, but it's the password. Well, I don't know. The Gestral waves his hands in the air. Golgar never told me the password, but whatever, just go in.
Incredible.
The gang shuffle past, all embarrassed.
I do love you can come here earlier, and he is stood there and he won't let you through without the password.
Yeah.
So he's just like, I'm sure when somebody comes and knows, I'll believe him.
That'll be convincing enough.
Yeah, that's gonna be convincing.
Yeah, so the gang go past all embarrassed, and Gustav like rubs his shoulder and goes, I'm sorry. As he moves by.
Dweeb.
Esquie's nest is a beautiful crystallized cave. Strange luminescent mushrooms light the way in a large platform. A beat. No sign of Esquie. Now what? And suddenly, woo! A rotund giant with a smiling white mask over his face swoops in through a hole in the roof of the cave.
Yes!
Yeah. Yes! A metal ring is around his head, like golden rays of the sun fused to his mask. He flaps his little arms like wings as he flies.
Wow.
That's how he flies.
He's quite Studio Ghibli, isn't he?
Oh my god, he is.
Yeah.
I love Esquie.
Yeah.
Monty loves Esquie.
Everybody loves
You'll love Esquie. Best boy.
So he lands with a rumble before the group. He breathes them in. Bonjour, mes amis, he says. Bonjour, mon ami, CL waves. Linné shoots her a look. What? I don't know, he seems nice. Esquie tilts his gigantic head at CL. Oh, it's you. Hello again, my terrible swimmer friend. You finally come to learn to swim? CL's words catch in her throat at the idea. No, I'm not. I'm not that fond of water. Why? Do you know me? Yes, Esquie gives a slow nod. How? Men trip not on mountains, they stumble upon stones, Esquie says with kindness. Listen, Esquie, Gustav says, we need to cross the sea. Ah, mon ami! Esquie raises his huge arms in the air like he's conducting an invisible orchestra. A rolling stone gathers no moss. Linné explains. In the stories, they say Esquie likes to speak in riddles. She's rewarded with a chorus of, whoa, I don't get it, from the group. Esquie gives a hearty chuckle, which is a bit dumb because he likes to speak in riddles.
Yeah.
What's difficult to understand about that?
Yeah, if you're struggling with that sentence, you're fucked when the riddles come about.
Esquie gives a hearty chuckle and he goes, there's a lot of you to carry if I'm to take you, mes amis. I'm strong, but I'm not that strong. I will need Florrie. Who's Florrie? One of my rocks, Florrie helps me swim, but Florrie was stole by my arch nemesis, the one whose every step shakes the foundation of the world, the one known as Francois.
Oh, Francois.
So where is Francois? Is he deep in Nevron-invested territory? No, of course not. He's right next door. Francois...
In the same cave.
Francois is Esquie's neighbor. Let's go get him. Francois is a grumpy old asshole. He is also a giant rock. A rock, he yells. I am not a rock. Do you have rocks for eyes? You certainly have rocks for brains. I'm clearly a turtle. He rolls his body an inch to the side as if he's craning his neck and yells out the door. Esquie! Stop sending hooligans over here! Stop being a meanie, Esquie shouts back. They're nice humans. Then keep them on your side of the caves, Francois roars. Look, Looney says, patience wearing thing. We're just here for Florrie. Oh, so not only are you intruding, you're here to steal over my dead body. Rah! The gang kick Francois' ass despite him summoning ice blasts to knock us out.
Specifically, the strongest attack of all time.
He summons the strongest, as it comes up with the strongest attack of all time.
Very funny.
He's really
And it
good.
will one-shot you. It's the most easily avoidable attack in the game, but it will one-shot you if it hits you.
It's really good.
And it's your fault if it does.
Okay, Francois shouts as we beat him. Let's put an end to this foolishness so I can go to sleep. There's a beat. Like a turtle, not a rock. The gang take the stone, get out of there, and head back to Esquie.
I do like the idea of these sort of two eternal magic creatures spending eternity in a cave together, and they fucking hate each other. They're just like grumpy neighbors.
I get the sense that Esquie is like Flanders and Homer Simpson. Like
Yeah,
Esquie really wants to be his friend. You know? Yeah.
Fran Diddley and Swa.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I was more thinking it's Dinkelberg, Mr. Turner.
Dinkelberg, God, yeah.
Dinkelberg.
That's a deep cut.
SpongeBob and
Patrick.
Squidward.
and Squidward.
Yeah.
No, Squidward.
It's Squidward for sure. Yeah.
Oh God, this dynamic comes up a lot.
It's almost like it's an archetype. Anyway, a trope. So,
Stories have
tropes?
tropes.
Turns out that the rock that Francois stole was not Florrie. Florrie was cast out at the Stone Wave Cliffs. This was a colossal waste of time. If you promise to get me Florrie, then we can be buddies. I won't just be able to swim, I'll be able to fly. I used to fly all the time with my best friend Verso. Fetch quest activated. But Esquie promises to join us on our adventure while we look for the magic rock. Hooray! And it's fun because you've got the open world. What's an overworld? Final Fantasy style where you just go from town to town and you can run about it freely and fight Nevrons and things, but it's like well zoomed out and everything's weirdly proportioned. And you can ride Esquie now. They all sit on his back and he just rolls along. It's great.
I'm going to make a guess that I can't remember what it was. I was about to call it the Gavroche, but that is
the gommage.
that is
Gavroche.
both the character in Les Mis and a now closed legendary restaurant. I think the Gavroche is closed. Anyway, the gommage. I'm assuming it doesn't take effect here wherever they are.
Oh, it does.
It does?
Yeah, it does.
So the fact that we have an old man here. See, I thought some of these names we've mentioned, I was wondering if we'll meet maybe the odd survivor from previous expeditions who couldn't make it back because it just doesn't take effect here. But good to know that outright it does.
Actually, I'm saying that, and I actually don't know. I think
It does.
It does.
It's confirmed in a few expedition logs.
Does it? Oh, perfect. Perfect.
Because there's a few where
Because you have a year to get to her.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because there's a pretty consistent theme that there are a few expedition logs where you see people who are like, everybody else has died. I can either wait for myself to get gommaged or I can kill myself.
That's it. Yeah.
And that comes up in a few expedition logs. That
How would they know?
What do you mean?
How would that one person know?
That they get gommaged?
Okay, so this is one thing that I'm not positive you mentioned.
Because they're the only one. How would they know you're going to get gommaged when you're here?
I'm not sure if you mentioned is you around the map can find expedition logs. So every expedition has kind of a journaler or a secretary.
I did cover that, yeah.
Yeah, and you can find them throughout. And there are a lot of notes that you see that people have mentioned, like seeing others get gommaged in the notes.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
things.
fair
So
enough.
the whole concept, for those who come next, they're leaving these so that other expeditions
yeah.
can
It's
find
like
them.
John turned 40 today and he burst into petals.
I completely
exactly.
accept, and all the expeditions that have come before have died.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
good
yeah.
to know that the gommage
Yeah.
Again,
The Gavroche
only
takes
one,
effect,
only one with survivors is Expedition Zero. The only one with survivors.
I do forget if they've ever been able to like send information back from the expedition to Lumiere. I can't think of any.
I can't think of any examples of that.
Maybe
No.
like messenger pigeon. So I'm not positive how the people in Lumiere know information from what happened on prior expeditions necessarily.
Expedition Zero came back and told them a bit because they got pretty close. Expedition Zero, so they were able to kind of map out the world. But as far as new stuff goes, I don't think it's.
They don't know anything.
Actually. I don't know.
I thought in my head because specifically Lune seems
Yeah.
like she has
She can
studied the
follow
past
them.
expeditions.
Yeah.
Like she studied them.
Well, no, I tell you what, this is it.
She
They don't
would know where they were going because they planned in advance.
That's exactly what
they
it is.
shared what they were going to
to do, and the hope is that
Yeah.
they stuck to the plan, and that's why she was annoyed that they
Fair
broke
enough.
protocol.
Because
if
the
you break
only way we
protocol-
have is planning in advance, not
Yeah.
knowing in retrospect.
You raise
Yeah.
a good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
I
that's
love
how-
it.
Great, love that we piece that together. Okay, so that night, Maëlle has another nightmare. A strange scene. She holds a piece of cake. The candle is a melting Eiffel Tower. The man with the long black hair returns. He stands inside a manor as it burns. Part 6. Florrie. Gustave keeps Maëlle company when she wakes. The pair throw stones off the side of the cliff, just like old times. Maëlle confesses that she's starting to feel a bit lost in all this. Well, Gustave smiles. If it makes you feel any better, I was even more lost when I was 16. Maëlle chuckles. I heard that's because you were only thinking about girls.
Ooh.
Yeah, but guess what? The girls weren't thinking about me. That's all.
Oh, no bitches.
Again, Gustave, he's such a... he's such a good beam. No bitch, Gustave. Yeah. I think I ship him and Lune. I see that. I think Lune would eat him alive, but I ship it.
I mean, they're both kind of
Yeah.
similar in certain ways, aren't they? But they've got enough differences that you can believe it. The mystery character that we've seen, the dark-haired character, I don't know if it's supposed to be the name that we haven't, the name I've heard now that I can't remember that somebody says is their friend.
Esquie said that Verso was his friend.
Verso, I don't know if
as
this
did
is maybe
Monoco.
Verso or this is the old white-haired man when he was younger. I don't know yet because a lot of games, used to get criticism for, the gritty male protagonist looking the same. This game has quite a funny version of that where I think that this guy and Gustave look fucking identical, but in a much more flamboyant, like they look like they're the bassist in an indie band kind of way.
Yeah.
So that's why I relate to Gustav. It's just me.
I would not put you on bass. I'd put you on drums just to use up some energy if I was building a dream indie band.
Wow. Hilarious because bass is the only instrument I play.
I know.
I am a bassist.
Yeah, this man in the,
Not in
in the
my
flashbacks.
I I will learn drums specifically for you.
I wish I had learned drums. I really regret that I didn't learn to play the drums.
Okay, so the next day, the team make it to the cliffs. And you'll never guess what's at the cliffs, Neil. An abandoned rusting Ferris wheel.
What?
Yep. So it's trashed below. So Gustav pulls out his journal, starts scribbling it down like furious, like, oh my god, a Ferris wheel. And Ciel comes up.
Presumably, you must have known that they were bringing a Ferris wheel. Yeah,
they knew. So it's like, you know, it's like seeing an old tank or something, like a bit of history. You're like, oh. So Ciel comes up next to him and she hushes. Want to go for a ride? Oh. She starts her arc here as the horniest character in the game. By far. Yeah. Yeah, she is thirsty.
The horniest, yet one of the few that doesn't have a feet fetish.
Sure.
Yeah.
Didn't really think about that, but yeah.
It's funny because feet haven't actually come up in the text.
No,
yet.
They have, and they will continue to. They have. I wish. And they will continue to come up explicitly in the text.
Okay, I don't know what the fuck you're. Oh no, sorry. Of course, yes.
This
the feet
game,
thing.
this
Yes.
game has a fairly explicit feet fetish.
I
And
would
I
call
will
it a
not be
fetish.
silent about it.
I wouldn't call it a fetish.
Can I take us back to this because that's funny, and I'm glad CL's getting her freak on. But the idea with the Ferris wheel was the idea that were they magically propelling it?
I have it coming for you.
Sorry.
Yes,
right,
Gustav is
go ahead.
about to nerd dump
This
on
was
you.
presumably early in the expeditions, back before we got to kind of game 6. Fuck, we've only got 20 years left. Well, realistically, 10 years left where we can do anything. They were like, we're just going to fuck about. We're in our experimentation phase.
So, all right. So Ciel is like, want to go for a ride? She's like, apparently that's where people went on dates. She nudges him. You know, what do you think happened in those cabins? And Gustav's like, well, actually, this was Expedition 50. So not experimentation phase. Yeah. They really should have been starting to get serious. Yeah. They created this giant wheel and they tried to cross the world in it. And so I was like, okay, Professor. Esquie swoops down. Florrie is close, mes amis. I can feel it. Oi, Mael yells. You can fly. Can't you get Florrie yourself? Oh no, Esquie broods. Too much effort. Their banter is interrupted when a gigantic Nevron rises up out of the chasm. Ooh. Its flesh is scaly and crusted. The face looks like it swallowed itself up. Esquie dodges a flailing hand and with a pop, doubles his size.
Wow.
He was already big. He rumbles, vibrates in the air for a sec, and then whoosh, launches straight into the Nevron, sending it tumbling to the ground. One hit kill.
Wow.
Wait, Esquie is that powerful? Gustav mutters, unsure if he's excited or scared. Apparently so, Ciel mutters, just lazy. Through the cliffs they journey. I love that. Too much effort. Oh, Nevron. Poof. Yeah. Through the cliffs they journey, eventually descending to dark, groaning tunnels.
To be fair, very powerful for himself. Just can't help others without his rocks.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
If we get him enough rocks, will he come with us and kill the Paintress?
He says he's going to come with. He's going to help us out.
Right.
Yeah. He's just bored as well. He's like, yeah, sure. You guys seem nice. You want to fly over to the monolith? I'll do it for you. He's effectively like a god in this world, it seems. So
he's got the Tom Bombadil thing of can't be arsed focusing.
Yes. Very Tom Bombadil.
He's also just our mount on the map.
He's
just our mount.
Yeah. Okay, so they go into some tunnels.
I think that's CL.
Ooh.
No. Cut that.
Not for Gustav.
I meant to say we're her mount, but I didn't come out right.
That's why I was going.
Yes.
She'd game. So, dun, a lamp bursts into life. Dun, dun. Another and another, eventually guiding the way to an open cave. Dun, dun, dun. Numerous lamps flash awake, and then a long, pale arm reaches out of the darkness and grasps for them. A rattling chortle crackles on the walls. Another arm, and another, and another. A new Nevron emerges. The Lamp Master. Ooh. Yeah, this is, I would argue, our first really difficult fight of the game. This is one I was stuck on for a while. A blistering battle commences. Swinging blindly in the dark, we desperately try to shatter the lamps that give this creature power. It's knocked back, retreating to a cliff edge that overlooks a storm-battered sea and jagged rocks. The team keep fighting until at last it is slain, tumbling to the rocks below. Is it really dead? Mael gasps. I really skirted over that, but you are here for a while. It's a difficult fight. Ciel reaches down and picks up a glittering rock. Florrie! Esquie cheers, swooping down to join them. With a pop, he absorbs the rock. All right, ready to sail like a snail. He plops down into a sea snail, I guess. He plops down into the ocean as everyone high fives. Jump, mes amis! It's not that high! Lune leaps down without a second thought. Ciel looks at the thrashing waves and her gaze turns to Gustav. I hate water. She laughs nervously. You don't happen to have some wine stashed away, do you? With a deep breath, she jumps onto Esquie's back. Gustav and Mael look out. The monolith is the closest it's ever been for them. The shining 33 is so large, making them feel so small. Mm-hmm. She doesn't seem that far now, does she? Gustav grins. Yeah, Mael says. Wanna throw one more rock? Better make it a good one. Gustav paces around the cliff edge, looking for the perfect pebble. Knock.
No.
Knock. Gustav looks down. What about this one? Does it really matter? Mael laughs. Knock. In the gloom, the white-haired man from the beach appears. Mael and Gustav have their back turned. They don't see him. Well, it's like I always say, Gustav holds out his pebble. It's not about the rock, it's about the zap!
Oh my god.
A bolt of light shoots out from the darkness, straight through Gustav. He looks up as a hot feeling courses through him. In the panic and pain, he's able to choke out just one word. Run!
God.
Mael goes to him, but she barely makes it 2 feet. Zap! A whirling vortex, a force field appears around her. She can't reach him. Gustav steadies his breath and looks at her. Run, Mael mutters. Please, run! He shakes his head and turns to face the man. Why? Why are you doing this? Knock, knock, knock. The man does not answer. Gustav grunts and draws his sword. We've done nothing to you, he roars. We should be on the same side. He thrashes his sword, panting through the effort. The man doesn't react. He barely feels it. Down below, Lune, Ciel, and Esquie prepare to help, but they can't. The Lampmaster rushes up from the ocean and ambushes them. Gustave musters the last of his energy and calls lightning down from the heavens. He throws his whole body behind the blast, and his prosthetic arm unleashes a wave of energy. It rushes towards the man and engulfs him in light. A crack. The prosthetic arm breaks, falling away.
Oh no.
When the dust clears, the man is bloodied but unbent. Gustave sighs and looks back at Maëlle. For those who come after, right? No, Maëlle mutters, realizing what he means, what he's about to do. No, you promised! She hammers at the force field containing her, the hard pounding of her fists barely drowning out her screams, and Gustave marches forwards, readying his sword. Without blinking, the man zips forward, running his blade through his chest. Time stops as Gustave slumps to the floor, dead.
Jesus.
Yeah. Gustave! Maëlle screams, the rage turning into energy. The force field shatters. She runs to the man, but it's already too late. The light has left Gustave's eyes. You won't yet understand, the man says, approaching slowly. But this is a kindness, not a cruelty. He reaches out and lightly shoves her chest. Boom. Maëlle's essence leaves her body, blasted back into a monochrome vision. As she falls backwards through a black void, we hear the unknown, warped voice of a woman. You let her come. You know she's too weak for this. How could you let her take such a risk? You only care when things are right in front of you, a man's voice replies. My sweet child, you were supposed to stay home. I told you not to worry, but since you're here now, just stay put. What are you saying? The woman snaps back. You must go home, now! This does not involve you! When this is over, the man replies, we'll go home together. Thum! Maëlle returns to her body. A flash of concern crosses the man's face. It's like he didn't expect her to come back. This won't make sense to you now, but we both want what's best for our families. His face twists, like he's trying to find a soft expression and failing. I'm sorry you're caught in the middle, but I did try to warn you. He raises his sword high and flash. A stranger bolts in front of Maëlle and deflects the man's blow. Who is it?
That's Verso.
When the dust clears...
Who actually doesn't look quite as similar in person and is in fact even fitter in person.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know this is Verso, but you have been guessing this Verso the whole time. And I'm happy. I will just tell you that, yes, this man's name is Verso. Yeah.
No. This man's name is Daddy.
Sure. He is incredibly attractive, yeah. My wife watched me play bits of this, didn't understand much of what's going on. She described Verso as a bit of a manic pixie dream boy.
Oh my god, he is!
Like in his whole vibe. Like this, not characterization, because she doesn't know anything about him, but just his vibe is he's giving. What's it called?
That's
when
really
it's a boy?
funny though, because his vibe is still that.
So like, you mean like kind of like performative male, like
no, not performative.
I'm brooding and I'm moody, but God, I'm so sexy. You know,
I'm brooding and I'm sexy, but I'll also fix your life, and I'm the adventure you need in your life. Yeah. He really is. Oh my, I've never thought about that. That's so funny.
Have you listened to Geese? That'll be funny to some people in the comments.
This is Ben Starr that we were talking about earlier. Yeah. This is Ben Starr's voice actor, yeah. So, a stranger bolts in front of Maëlle and deflects the man's blow. When the dust clears, we see it's the man with the long black hair, the one from Maëlle's nightmares. A silver wisp or white wisp is in his fringe. God, I'm not going to be able to do this, and it's going to suck. I'm sorry, everybody. I can't.
You did it earlier. You can do this.
It's been a while, the white-haired man says. Stay out of this. You chose to walk away. You don't get to come back now and interfere. You lived more than a lifetime, the stranger says softly, sounding just like Ben Starr. It's time to let her go. A lifetime with my family torn apart. No, I want my family back. It's not your family, the stranger says. But she is. He points a finger high, and we see the white-haired girl, Alicia, watching them from a cliff above. You would involve her? She chose to come. I don't make the rules between you two. The stranger turns and offers his hand to Maëlle. Are you all right? Maëlle looks past his hand. It's okay. I'll handle things here. Get back to your friends. Tears fall freely from Mael's face as she turns and leaps onto Esquie's back. So that's it, the white-haired man says, watching Mael go. You've set us down this path, but are you ready for the consequences? The stranger looks out to the monolith. She will never paint again.
Wow.
Everyone retreats back to camp, mourning the loss of Gustave.
Jeez.
Mael throws herself into Esquie and he holds her close until she cries herself to sleep.
I had to move my mic away for the entirety of that because I did not want to say anything.
Yeah.
Very responsible.
That hit, it hits like a fucking...
It does.
Because it's so out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It is so incredibly out of nowhere. And I remember up to this point having texted you a million theories surrounding Gustave.
One of the theories being that the white-haired man is an older version. I think we both said that. We all three of us at some point theorized this.
It's a really intentional. Like I think they do that intentionally is to make you think that.
Yeah, they look very alike.
And it just Gustave dies and you hit just a massive wall where you're like, what the fuck is going on now?
Now, unfortunately, I think that there was one thing I would argue that the game blunders here, which is Act 1 Gustave. I think from the beginning sets you up to expect that he will die. Because it's like, okay, I'm playing as him now, so there's a good chance they're going to kill him off.
I disagree.
Oh, that's fair. I'm glad it worked.
Purely because I didn't expect that. I just expected that Gustave would be like our primary character, and then maybe Act 2 Mael, where Mael becomes more important to the plot or something like that.
Sure, yeah.
I kind of expected it to just be who's the central character of the narrative for this arc.
Because you can, when you're running around the world just exploring, with it, which is a click of your button, you can change to being any of the other characters. And it's just a model
obviously,
change.
I was always Mael.
Yeah, Looney, because Looney glides when she moves, and it's just really graceful, it's nice. But yeah, so anyway, we're not quite done with the part. So they've retreated back to camp, and Mael has cried herself to sleep in Esquie's arms. In the dead of night, over the dying embers of a campfire, Ciel and Lune sit together. The last time they sat like this was back in Lumiere, mourning their parents on the day of the gamage. Seems like every time we're together it's to grieve, Ciel says. I wish we could have spent more time in less hopeless contexts. Lune stares into the fire. The plan doesn't change. We aim for the monolith. We keep heading north, though we lost the Lumina converter, and all the backups were destroyed by that man, but Expedition 32 will bring more. Their chances will be better. We need to prepare them. I should update our journals, and Ciel hushes her. Hey, it's okay. She leans her head on Lune's shoulder. Tomorrow will still come. And I love that. Lune immediately straight into right, how do we prep for tomorrow? How do we prep for the next group? At the edge of the camp, the curator watches on. As the stranger slowly walks into camp, he's carrying Gustave's prosthetic arm. This seemed important, he says. And if you want to reach the monolith, the best path is through the quarry up north. Ciel looks at him and realizes he's wearing an expedition uniform. In the light of the moon, we can also see that his black mane is strung through with silver hair. He's older than he looks. I'm wearing an expedition uniform because I too am an expeditioner. Expedition 0. Why do you look so young? Lune asks. I don't know exactly. Some of us just stopped aging. And we're not affected by the gamage. Some of you, like the man on the cliff, Renoir, our commander. So the white-haired man is Renoir. The pair burst with questions. Why did he massacre their team? How could he turn on his own people? He believes that his immortality is a gift from the Paintress. Killing her would kill him too, and he enjoys living forever. I don't. Burying everyone you know while you live on can weigh you down a bit. I couldn't help your friend, but perhaps I can help you. You want to join us? If you don't mind the company, yes. A rustle of grass. Mael heard the whole thing. With a determined, somewhat manic glare in her eye, she asks, So if I want to kill Renoir, I have to kill the Paintress first? The stranger doesn't answer, but it's clear that she's right. What's your name? Verso, he says. Act 2, Verso.
Ooh.
Part 7, Aftermath. So you might remember that Esquie mentioned a Verso before, a friend, someone who joined him for many colourful adventures. The pair would fly around the world together. He is overjoyed to see him again. Mon ami, you've put on a lot of weight.
What the fuck? Typical French parent.
Yeah. I could say the same for you, you giant marshmallow. For the first time, we see Verso crack a smile. But you lost your stones again? What have you been up to? Perfecting the art, Esquie laughs. of napping. Impressive, Verso nods. You should teach me your secrets. Mon ami, Esquie says, his voice turning grave. I wish I could. Perhaps I can show you if we nap together. Before they leave camp, Maëlle takes a minute to throw rocks. Verso approaches, apologizing for not arriving sooner. Was he your brother? Maëlle sniffs and throws a rock. Something like that. Losing family is... I know, Maëlle interrupts. I know what you're going to say. You're going to offer your condolences, say something comforting, but I don't need it. I've had enough condolences. I've lost so many families now. I just need... Can you please just go? Verso looks like he's about to object and eventually turns away. As he does, we see that he's clutching Gustave's journal. He leaves it on a rock for when Maëlle is ready.
What a sweetheart.
Yeah, it's also, that scene is very much, because we covered Spider-Man on Lore Dump, it's Peter going to Miles at his funeral. You know, it's like, I know what you're going to say, I know you're going to tell me. Yeah. It's a lovely moment, that. The team set off for the next leg of their journey. There's a whole lot of land and sea between here and the Paintress. Better get a move on. While working through the quarry, Maëlle asks if they can stop and bury Gustave, or at least the prosthetic arm that Verso returned. Regretfully, with an edge of bitterness in his throat, Verso says he knows the perfect spot. He's buried a lot of friends. The journey there is littered with corpses. Some of the largest expeditions made it this far, but one way or another, they were cut down just like all the rest. With every body, Maëlle's grip on Gustave's arm grows a little tighter until eventually she explodes. Everywhere we go, just death, death, and more death, she spits. Look, Maëlle, Verso says softly, I thought you would understand. You said you spent your immortality burying the people around you. Doesn't any of this bother you? She rounds on CL. And you, Gustave is dead. Gustave! Why are you acting like that didn't happen? The group are sober as they push on, eventually reaching the grove that Verso mentioned. The ceremony is short. Verso stands a respectful distance away. No more dome, CL says with a small smile. Just open skies. I'll finish what you started, Maëlle promises. The Paintress, Renoir, they will pay and I will save them. I'll save all of Lumiere. I could never tell if you were my brother or father, but to me you were both. The best brother and father I ever had. And I'll see you in the next life. When one falls, Looney breathes. We continue. Verso lays out the plan. They can't just sail straight to the monolith and fight the Paintress. A barrier surrounds the island. To destroy the barrier, they're going to need to find and destroy the Paintress's heart. The heart is in Old Lumiere. That information causes a stir in Lune and CL. Suddenly, some theories have been confirmed. Before the fracture, the Lumiere they knew was part of a larger city. Verso points out that all of this is dangerous though. Old Lumiere is overrun with powerful Nevrons. To stand a chance, they're going to need to recruit someone. An old friend of his is holed up at a place called Monoco Station. To CL, that's almost as exciting as Old Lumiere. The stories say the Monoco Station has snow. It has never snowed in Lumiere. She's never seen it. For the first time, an eager air sits around the camp. Maybe Lune was right. Maybe planning helps. CL asks Verso to share a bit about himself and some of his mystery. He arcs an eyebrow. Okay, I'll trade you. A story for a story. Well, CL smiles. There are stories, and then there are stories. You first. Something dark and melancholic and personal. Maëlle ties a golden ribbon around Verso's arm so he matches them. Welcome to the disaster expedition, she tells him. So there are that little snippet there. There are chats that you have at the camp. Optional chats that flesh out your relationship with your characters. You unlock new moves and things. I have threaded them throughout, and I've actually played some of them earlier, and just for the pacing. Otherwise, we're just going to get a big bulk of like Verso goes and speaks to this person, or Maëlle goes to speak to this person, and it's just a whole lot of shit. So I've just going to thread them throughout the adventure.
It's a very odd one, just to kind of jump it, where there's a very kind of almost jarringness to starting Act 2, where you go from Gustave has been your main character for the entirety of Act 1 to suddenly this new guy, who is not one of the people you were with for the entire rest of the game, is suddenly your main character, and it suddenly feels like you have the whole game. Like, things like these conversations weren't available as Gustave.
Yes.
There are other bits that are like only start becoming available once you are Verso, and it's really weird. And I feel like you do like adjust to it very quickly, and then the game moves on, but it does make it have a very weird disconnect between Act 1 and the rest.
It's interesting because, I mean, we're halfway, right, through the lore dump, and Verso feels like almost like when the game begins, in a sense. And that's not like the first half doesn't feel like that. It's just suddenly that you go, oh, this is the actual game. I was having fun before, but now there's a more game bit here. So, part 8, Monoco Station. Monoco Station is a train station built into the heart of a snow-capped mountain. Yeah, it's awesome. Trains are frozen in time, as if someone has painted an explosive scene where an avalanche has come and derailed the carriages. Despite the gloom of the past couple of days, the party gasp with wonder at what they're seeing. Even destruction contains beauty. Whoosh! A Gestral leaps down from the roof, a wooden staff with an ornamental bell as his weapon. His limbs are long, out of sync with his stocky torso. The matted grey fur that coats him makes him look like a monkey. This is Monoco.
Oh, I love Monoco.
Everybody loves Monoco.
Second best character.
After, who's
Esquie,
your favorite?
obviously.
Esquie, obviously. I mean, that's fair. They're both quite similar. They both bring a little bit of goofiness, which is needed. Yeah.
They're same vibes, except he's like a grumpy goofiness, whereas Esquie is a whimsical goofiness.
And he's a Gestral, but he speaks English and you can understand him. And he's got a deep voice. He's good, yeah. So Esquie's like, Momo! When he flies into the station. Esquie, Monoco rumbles. Did Verso pull you into another adventure? Looney cocks her head. You speak our language. We had a lot of time to kill. Verso smiles. I taught him. Monoco takes a step back and twirls his staff. Ladies, could I out? The bell whips him in the air and smacks him in the side of the head. Could I introduce you in a duel? He might speak English, but Monoco is still a Gestral. No point talking until we've had a nice, relaxing fight. Monoco's whole deal is that he eats the foot of a creature we fight and can then turn into that creature later on.
Our true foot fetish character.
So you collect them fighting Nevrons, and if you fight with Monoco at the end, of like, Monoco got a new foot, and then you can turn into the Nevron in the next fight. It's very fun.
Lune is the foot fetish lover character. Monoco is the foot fetish.
Amazing. I didn't hear any of this in the award stuff.
And I don't know, Neil, have you heard me say the word fetish yet? I haven't.
I'm sorry. There are so many things that Monoco says where it's explicitly like, I love feet.
He likes to eat them. They're tasty.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that didn't.
Okay,
Monty, that
he
didn't
loves to
sound
eat
great.
them.
That didn't sound great.
No. He does not love to just eat them. He loves to sit at camp and stroke them and clean them. And he loves to look at them and collect them. He loves his feet. And he makes so many comments in battle about feet.
And has a big wank.
Put your thoughts in the comments. Put your thoughts in the comments.
Yeah. Cool. So they're sparring and they're interrupted by a high-pitched wah! The tiny Gestral Noco, who befriended Mael back in the Choral Reefs, bursts into the station. And they do that shot, where the camera's attached to the front of their head, so it's shaking. So funny.
How did you get here?
Yeah, it's just been following them, I guess. And he goes, Nevron! And he's terrified. It seems monsters are attacking this refuge. Monoco casts his arms wide. Friends of Verso, as honored guests, the first fight is yours.
Kind.
He grunts as he sits on the ground, ready to watch a good fight. We kick his ass, and Monoco agrees to hear Verso out. Verso,
I love as well that he does that, and Verso's like, "Oh, you fucking lazy ass!
Yeah, you lazy asshole!
You lazy fucking asshole! You could deal with this easily."
Monoco's like, "Forget you. I'm having a minute." And it's like, yeah, the grunt makes it sound like he's got old knees. Like
they have the funniest old rivals relationship.
So, we kick his ass, and Monoco agrees to hear Verso out. Verso pulls him off to the side and looks at him seriously for a private chat. We're heading to old Lumiere. Okay, bye. Hey, look, I know we failed before, but he nods at Mael. Don't you recognize her? Well, of course I do. Then you know that this is our shot. This might be our only shot. No, Monoco says. This is your only shot. There will be a lot of fighting, Verso says. Yeah, okay, that's true. That's true. There will be a lot of fighting. Exactly. Count me in then. Good. Yes, good.
Lovely.
There's clearly an affectionate rivalry between the two.
You just reminded me of that excellent bit at the end of 2025 Superman, the only good Superman movie. And in our lifetimes anyway.
I was going to say.
There's that great bit at the end where Metamorpho is walking alongside the Justice Gang, and he just goes, "We can't have someone this ugly in the Justice Gang." And he goes, "Justice Gang? Cool name." He's in.
yeah. It's very much that. The idea is almost that these adventures that Verso went on, it was him, Esquie, and Monoco, the three musketeers sort of vibe. Noco also joins. It turns out that he is Monoco's child.
That makes sense.
Monoco thinks it's a superb idea to bring his kid and expose him to the big bitter battles ahead. That night, Ciel and Verso talk, pressing each other for stories. Come on, a good one this time. Tell me something about yourself. Verso pauses, considers his next move. Sometime after the fracture, my hair turned completely white, like an old man. Luckily, the Gestral Village has a hairstylist, quite skilled in colour treatments. Verso dyes his hair.
Amazing.
That was hardly dark.
Which means
personal.
is he choosing to leave that little streak in? Is that what I'm meant to infer?
Where's the censor button? Okay. Yes, he is. Clearly, he's choosing to. Yes, so she's like, that was hardly dark or personal. And it's like, white hair, old man, I'm revealing myself here. All you've revealed is that you're vain. They go back and forth, and eventually Ciel lets slip that she was married once. Her husband, Pierre, died. Not from the gamage, but from an accident. His body was washed out to sea. You want to know why I dislike water? She says quietly. I tried to drown myself after that. I tried to swim away from Lumiere as far as the waves would carry me until I could no longer swim.
Oh, that's where Esquie knows her from.
I woke up the next day in Lumiere on the docks. I was alive and I have no idea what happened. What I didn't know then was what the hospital told me. I was pregnant. I lost the child. Verso struggles to comfort her. He confesses that he's thought about it too, ending his own life. Dark and personal, right? Ciel smiles, tears in her eyes. They stay up until morning, watching the stars and enjoying the silence together. There's definitely a feeling that amongst the whole group, Ciel is the one that Verso likes to spend the most time with. Just not for any particular reason, it's just they just seem to gravitate to each other, just these two dark souls.
Whilst I shipped Gustav and Lune, I shipped Verso and Ciel.
100%.
I really don't, because obviously this is a game about grief, right? And we had this funny thing when we did Silent Hill, where when you're dealing with very serious topics, I don't want to be in poor taste and jump in and go, could this be part of my theory? You know,
Sure, but go ahead.
When you say she lost the child,
She had a miscarriage because she tried to drown herself.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. It's probably look, this game has lots of sad stuff ahead, but that is probably the darkest I would argue it gets.
God, poor Ciel.
Poor Ciel, and it
wonder
explains
she
a little
drinks.
bit why she drinks. Yeah, 100%. She's just dealing with that every day, you know. So on top of the, living in a world where all your loved ones disappear every year. So part 9, Old Lumiere. Old Lumiere was once bustling with life, before the fracture ripped apart the world and threw mankind into the sea. Now it's abandoned. Rubble floats absently in the air. The ground is uneven beneath our feet, sloped and tumbling into itself. Old buildings lie derelict. The white of the snow doesn't crumble beneath our feet. It's splashed onto the ground like paint. The perfect home for Nevrons. The heart of the Paintress is in the center of the city. Piles of buildings block our way. All right, Verso says, pointing at the blockade. Show off a bit, Monoco. Monoco stretches. Just admit you can't do it yourself. He transforms into a giant Nevron called a Stalact, a spiked, icy creature on 4 legs. He roars, rears up, and smashes into the building. Chaos, smoke, rubble and brick explode as he connects with it. The gang is separated into 2 teams.
Jesus.
Yeah, big mistake. Team 1 has Lune, Ciel, and Monoco. Monoco, Lune roars. Why the hell did you do? She trails off as she sees that he's got sloped shoulders and has shattered breathing. He's sobbing. Oh. I'm sorry, he cries. I fucked up. I just wanted to show off. Lune gives him an awkward pat. Right, okay, well, our best bet is just head for the heart of the Paintress. That's where Mael and Verso will be headed. Their journey on. Ciel, trying to cheer Monoco up, asks him what life was like before the fracture. The world was smaller and cozier, livelier. There were many more of us Gestrals back then. The fracture tore our villages apart. Only a fraction of a fraction survived. Our forests are filled with Gestrals awaiting rebirth. They ask about Verso. How long have you two known each other? Monoco shifts uncomfortably. I feel I've always known him. That does nothing to assuage Lune and Ciel. They can't shake the feeling that there's something he's not telling them. A pile of corpses strengthens their suspicions. Expedition 58. The expedition that Verso travelled to Old Lumiere with. So the expeditions came and Verso met some of them. And some of them, like Renoir, was like killing expeditions and stuff. Yeah. And Verso seemed to help some of them to try and get to the Paintress, just like he's doing now. So Lune picks up one of their diaries. They made it surprisingly far, she mutters, reading it over. An Axon. Interesting. We haven't heard of Axons before now, but we will learn more about them later.
Okay.
As she reaches the end of the diary, Lune's eyes widen. Verso is... She stops and shoots over to Monoco, waving the diary at him. Is this true? Monoco doesn't answer. Mael's with him, Lune says to Ciel. We need to find them, now! Verso would never harm her, Monoco protests, but Lune and Ciel have already set off. A few miles away, Verso, Mael, and Noko work their way to the Paintress's heart. Mael's a bit sore, but everyone's okay. Monoco fits well into the disaster expedition, she grumbles, rubbing her muscles. They battle strange sculpted Nevrons wielding blades of light, strange guardians of this place. Notably, Verso and Mael's moves complement each other. They kick ass, emerging from the fights unscathed. We're a pretty good team, Mael smiles, finally letting her guard down around Verso. There's no response. Verso is gone. Don't worry, Noko squeaks. Verso runs off all the time. He'll be back. An ornate door shimmers out of the gloom. Another door to that manor. Mael pushes through and finds herself in a decorated bedroom. On a nearby desk are scraps of writing. An excerpt from a man's diary. But how, it reads, with someone who refuses to talk. We don't even share the bonds of grief anymore. She walks her path and I walk mine. I don't exist to her. None of us do. She's left us all behind to drown by ourselves. All so that she can drown alone. Who is he talking about? Mael's journey takes her back into Old Lumiere, where, strangely, she sees another manor. A derelict copy of the place the team keep visiting. Strange. She pushes open the front door, coming face to face with her, the Paintress.
Wow.
There's a hole where her face should be, a smoking void.
Just like the, what do you call him?
The curator.
Yeah.
Yeah. Her white hair is blown back, waving in a wind that doesn't exist. Her skin is crumbling and peeling away like old unvarnished paint. I knew you'd open the door for her, a voice says from behind Mael. Verso arrives, charging past her and throwing himself through the entrance. Thoom! He's knocked back by an unseen force. Knock, knock, knock. Renoir appears. This fucking guy. Really, Verso? Renoir says, almost sympathetic. This was your plan? Verso stares at the Paintress, an indecipherable, conflicted look on his face. Fury mixed with something else. The door to the manor groans and shuts, leaving Renoir, Verso, and Mael alone in the courtyard. How many times must you hurt our family? Renoir muses. No, Verso hisses. No, you don't get to lecture me on family. You insist on rushing toward death. You're trying to stop the wrong cycle. Oh, please. Verso jams a finger in Renoir's face. You're doing this for yourself. Of course, it's easy for you to think that, isn't it? Renoir says, immovable. Easier to betray us if I'm the villain. Mael summons her sword and steps forward. Verso, move. I'm going to fucking kill him. Renoir tilts his head and a small look of surprise stretches across his wrinkled face. Ah, you haven't told her the truth. Have you, son? Boom. And I would argue it's not a big twist there. Yeah. I think you can piece that together from their earlier conversation.
Family and I've been waiting for some hidden family reveals, and I suspect they're not over there.
And Grace, do you, as of right now, because that's kind of a reveal on what might have been a theory. What are your kind of thoughts and theories as of where we are right now?
I'm sort of trying to keep myself divorced from it. The sort of crafting. I
had a lot of theories by this point.
I think obviously the big question mark is that I've got is who is the Paintress, or how does that relate to I've forgotten his name already. The
Renoir?
No. The
Verso?
No, the person in the camp who looks the same
curator.
The curator.
The curator, yes.
Are these former members of their expedition? That doesn't really make sense with the timeline. Are these family members? How does Mael tie into all of this? Because she seems like she's got some sort of familial connection, or she also, I've come I said it quite early on, but that scene where she got kind of pushed out of her body made me think again that like she's here too soon. Like she's,
there is certainly something going on with Mael, and that's all I'll confirm for you. Is just that is currently one of the driving mysteries. Why is she getting these visions? What's going on there? And why does Renoir seem to know her? Yeah. Okay, so you haven't told her the truth, have you, son? Boom! An explosion strikes Renoir. It doesn't hurt him, but it does distract him. Lune, Monoco, and CL arrive. Sorry we're late, Lune spits. We were doing a bit of reading. She turns on Verso. Were you planning on sharing that this man, the man who murdered our team, is your father? Which, we just learned that, Lune. Keep up. Great timing. Family isn't my favourite topic, Verso says stiffly. Tired of the bickering, Renoir smacks his cane into the ground and a pulse of energy ripples off him, preparing for a fight. Let's talk about this later, Verso breathes, because I'd really like you all to survive this. The fight against Renoir is long and hard. Yeah.
It's fucking hard.
The team has grown stronger through their adventures, but they're out of sync, not moving as one. It seems that Renoir has complete control of the environment. He changes the terrain, summons strange black masks from the ether that attack on his behalf. He is in complete control. The fight doesn't end because we beat him, it ends because he grows bored. He raises his arms into the sky and summons a beam of light that comes thundering down to the group. Monoco dives forward, just as the attack smashes the ground around them, wrapping his arms fiercely around his son. No! Boom!
Oh no!
Everything goes dark. When the smoke clears, Monoco stands holding the limp body of his son in his arms. He struggles out his next words as if he doesn't believe what he's seeing. Noco's broken, he says.
Sad. I mean, can we not put Noco in the river and he'll be reborn? Oh. I just got a shrug, listeners. I'm not getting an answer.
So, Mael charges forward and starts thrashing wildly at Renoir. He deflects with ease, but his face twists with frustration as he barks at her. Why can't you accept who you are? He raises his cane high and starts to bring it down. Verso charges forward to block the attack, roaring, Alicia, move!
Ah, gosh.
As their blades connect, time stops. Everyone is frozen except for Mael. And it's just important to point out, the aspect ratio changes when these black and white shots happen. It's just a cool creative choice.
Very movie.
The door to the manor opens, and the girl in the mask, Alicia, steps out, silently approaching. She takes off her mask, and we see the scarred, burnt flesh underneath. She reaches out, touches Mael's hand, and we hear screams. The world around them changes in an instant. The manor is on fire. A man screams and sobs in the distance. What is this? Mael says. Wordlessly, Alicia walks back into the burning manor. As she closes the door, the manor and Renoir vanish. Time resumes.
So this is Alicia. Are we supposed to assume this is another member of their family?
It seems to be that whoever Alicia is important to both Renoir and Verso, so to think that she's a family member is a fair current theory. Yeah. And she's got white hair like the others.
Or their expedition, I guess.
Putain! Verso shouts. The manor! Where did it go? He roars in frustration and throws his sword to the ground. Wordlessly, the team return to camp. So the girl in the mask, Mael asks quietly. Is she your sister? Verso pauses, painful memories crossing his lips. Her name's Alicia. She was trapped in a fire long ago. Damaged her face and throat, so... Why did they come to see me? Mael asks. I don't know, Verso says, not looking at her. That surprised me. A beat. Do you want the armband back? I feel like a fraud wearing it. Mael shakes her head. You say you chose your side, right? You're not upset with me? No. I hate secrets, but Gustave always gave people the benefit of the doubt, and your actions are what matter. I trust you. He explains to the group. He didn't tell them that Renoir was his father because it's private and it's painful and it's none of their business. I cut ties with them decades ago, he mutters. I told you everything you need to know. I'd rather make that determination for myself, Lune cuts back. I think we can all understand where each other's coming from, right? CL says. She looks at Lune. He hasn't steered us wrong yet, and we won't get far if we don't trust each other. Any bickering is quickly shut down as Monoco arrives with Noco's body.
Oh, Noco.
The stories say that Gestrals can be reincarnated. Lune asks if we can bring Noco back with rebirth. Partially, Monoco says, struggling through the words. Not all of Noco will return. It will be a different Noco. The one you knew is gone. which, there you go. So it's still a loss.
Gosh. I've been sitting on this thought about, death. Obviously, this is a game largely about death.
Yeah.
And about how these, the society is dealing or railing against the kind of deaths that are determined for them. And I thought it was really interesting that you had a species natural to this world that kind of doesn't die.
Yeah.
And so it's going to have different motivations. But they do. It's a kind of...
Your soul still moves on.
A different version of you is going to come back.
We don't really get into the nitty-gritty of this, but there is the idea is it's not continuation. He might kind of remember bits of you, but the memories that built up that person are gone.
I wonder if it's maybe it's not quite the same as the Game of Thrones reincarnation, where every time you sort of lose a bit of yourself, but that's a little bit more.
It's more like, Monoco's child has died and he will come back in the same body potentially, but it's a different child. Maybe he'll give him the same name, but it's a different child.
Monoco.
Verso sits by his side. I'm so very sorry, my old friend, and it was all for naught. The Paintress heart was in that manner, and now it is gone. Verso clenches his fist and stares into the fire, but Lune points out that Expedition 58 seemed to think there was another way, the Axons. Verso points out that the Axons are a dead end, but Lune clutches the expedition diary tight and marches over to where the curator has been watching them. The curator is not much for words, but through rumbles and distant echoing roars, he's able to communicate. The next step of the plan is laid out. The curator can make a weapon that will pierce the Paintress's barrier, but to make that weapon, he needs them to slay beings known as Axons. It's an impossible fetch quest. 3 gigantic mythical creatures, much more powerful than Nevrons. Expedition 58 tried this tactic, and look what happened to them. But the reality is, we don't have any other option, so time to hunt some Axons. But first, a quick pit stop. Can I interest you in volleyball?
Sure, always.
This looks like fun, CL laughs as they approach. A Gestral stands near a floating raft and waves them over. This looks like a waste of time, Lune scoffs. The team get dressed up in swimsuits.
That water is ridiculously good looking, by the way.
I've not seen this one.
I've
not seen this one.
This is Monoco's swimsuit.
Wow.
Yeah.
How have I not seen that?
It's right up the crack, everyone. It is right up the crack.
Yeah, Monoco.
That's gorgeous.
This is Verso's. Yeah, for the gays and the ladies.
Très bien.
And here's Lune just for me. Or how about...
I had the same reaction to that last vote.
Or how about a Gestral challenge to climb a parkour tower?
Fuck this tower.
This sucks.
Fuck.
I love it.
Fuck all the Gestral beaches. Fuck every single one of them, but specifically this tower.
Seem fun.
They're fun, very difficult mini games and very, very jank. They are all so jank.
If I can jump in for just one brief second. In my list of things that I hate about this game, it's mainly
platforming.
This is a Unreal Engine game. And occasionally it really feels like that in a derogatory way.
I know
and
what
the
you mean.
Gestral beaches are one of the main places where it's like,
Yeah.
this is not an engine designed to do this. It feels like they've just, especially the fucking parkour tower, just feels like they've grabbed 500 assets off of the, store, slapped them together randomly, and then just, oh, good luck. There's no good collision engine. There's no good jumping, but fuck you.
It's broken, but I also don't care because it's completely optional.
It's completely
and you just
optional
get
side content, but I'm a completionist. And
I mean, and I have to say, you, given your favorite franchises, a lot of your favorite franchises being Yakuza, Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy, you've probably done more side content than the rest of us combined. And so I'm trying to say, you know what you're talking about when it comes to bad mini games.
It's not even that. It's just I hate when they try to put mini games that are shoved into an engine that doesn't support it.
Yeah. Well, the parkour tower is very difficult, and we make it to the top. There are a bunch of Gestrals having a party. We dance with them, and all the tension that's racked up across the game melts away, unless you're Chase. Let's hunt some Axons.
Shaking with rage while playing.
Part 10.
The tension has still not. I've not touched that tower in weeks. I didn't know there was a party at the top. I've never beaten the tower. I've spent about 6 hours in that fucking tower.
I beat it like third go. Part 10, Axons.
Aren't you great at video games?
Axon 1, and to be fair, there's some bosses here that really kicked my ass and you breezed by, so it's
that
fine.
is true.
Axon 1.
Strengths and weaknesses.
Axon 1. Visage. He who guards truth with lies. The island of Visage is locked perpetually in autumn. The grass is orange, the trees are red, faces are carved into huge boulders that signal a path. The island is singing. The faces gently mouth a melody. Eventually, a floating huge figure emerges. He doesn't attack, instead casting the island into complete bleak darkness. Nothing, and that a set of spotlights from somewhere unseen shoot awake as the Mask Keeper steps forward. Such cool armor. He is humongous. Well, do you want to describe him?
I'll try my best. This looks more metallic than the other bosses we've seen so far. And from what I can see, can't really make out the face, but the armor across the chest and shoulders is all made up of these sort of metallic faces in different expressions of sorrow and screaming. And
this entire island gives, and I'm forgetting what the fuck it's called, but the Oblivion DLC.
Shivering Isles.
This entire island gives Sheogorath and Shivering Isles, and there isn't like a Sheogorath parallel character. It's more just the vibes of the island itself, but yeah.
So, yeah, the Mask Keeper, he is humongous. His face is hidden. He's humongous, donned in armor sculpted to reveal faces with strange expressions. Some are laughing, some are crying, some are smiling, some are shouting. The gang ready their weapons. Oh, he says. His face is hidden beneath a helmet. We can hear the mirth in his voice. I'm harmless. You don't need those. Well, if you're harmless, then these weapons will stay harmless too, Verso says, keeping calm.
No, he lies.
Touché.
One of us tells the truth. One of us lies.
The other one is just pretty chill. He doesn't get involved.
I don't know.
Got a lot of faces.
I don't know why I said that in an Esquie voice.
Yeah, touché. Visage awaits you at the end of this path. Stum! A spotlight shoots awake and we see a crevice leading up a mountain. The Mask Keeper disappears. To make it to the top, the gang need to find gigantic masks. Climbing the mountain, the smoking shape of a man in a top hat waits on a cliffside. There are a chunk of these. I've only put like 2 in. But there's the man in a top hat, there's a little boy in a beret, and is there a woman? I forget.
I think so, yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Right.
I've only popped a couple of these in. He doesn't really acknowledge the team, but if you approach, he talks wispily like he's reliving a memory. I would have traded my years for his, the figure says. His life was cut short. He had so much more to do, to experience. This senseless war. Why? To what end? Lives shattered, and for what? He was innocent. Innocent! He paid the price for our hubris. We move on.
Just for anyone listening along, the caption, by the way, above the subtitles, says this man is a fading man.
The fading man, yeah. They get the fading man, the fading boy, and I think the fading woman. We move on and reach the top of the mountain where the Axon awaits. Visage is a huge stone figure, a behemoth. Broken masks float around his body as he wields a humongous metal sword. The battle is tough, but we best him, and as he shrieks and crumbles into the abyss, the team are plunged once again into darkness. Stum! A spotlight shines and the Mask Keeper re-emerges, picking up a piece of Visage and holding it aloft. People want so badly to know what's behind the mask, he says. Front, back, recto, verso, great art is both window and mirror, whether it's your mask or theirs. The Mask Keeper is the true Axon. Visage was a ruse. We all need masks, he rumbles, and out of the darkness come a group of stone carvings. They slam hard into the faces of the team, and they hit the deck, their masks. But Ciel rips hers off. This mask can't hurt me, she announces, because it is me. Years of burying her grief, of wearing a smile, make her immune to the Mask Keeper's powers. She steps forward and rips the face off the Axon with an explosion of paint and dust. The Mask Keeper drops to the floor. Everyone climbs to their feet.
I have used the power of my repressed emotions to defeat this monster.
Yeah, you can't get me, but I'm already repressed.
I already got myself.
Yeah. Axon down, Ciel mutters. As the team turn away, Verso stays behind, watching its body fade. That was Verso, he says. Wasn't it? That was Verso. Energized by beating their first Axon, the gang head back to camp. That night, Mael relaxes. By lying on Esquie like a beanbag.
Oh.
Yeah, it's cute. Verso approaches. Do you mind if I play here? He asks. She furrows her eyebrows and he waves his hand in the air, conjuring a beautiful grand piano.
Have you heard the Smiths before?
That would be a Verso move. Delicately, he sits and lets his fingers walk across the keys, playing a gorgeous piece of music, a somber, hopeful piece. Maëlle, curious, sits by him, swaying gently to the tune, humming along. Two people lost in sound. Maëlle comments that she feels like she's heard this before. Behind them, Esquie does an interpretive dance, which is very cute. Yeah, I don't have it. But he just kind of like does a little ballet dance for it. It's really cute. In the dead of night, Ciel approaches Esquie and presses him to explain how he knows her. You were swimming the first time we met, Esquie nods. Then you stopped swimming in the middle of the ocean. That's dangerous. Ciel's eyes widen. It was you? You saved me back then, but how? I heard your tears. Ciel stumbles over her words. Thank you. Tears again, Esquie says, looking at her. You sure like to cry. Verso likes crying too. You were looking for someone then. Did you find them? No, Ciel sniffs. But hopefully soon. Axon 2, Serene. She who plays with wonder.
God damn, this game is so magical.
A surrealist, sand-drenched palace woven with red rugs, curtains, and blankets. Again, I am really skirting past the levels naturally, but this level is like at least 30 minutes. You know, you're working through, you're fighting things, you're finding chests, you're exploring. Yeah.
It's a cool one.
It's a cool one. Yeah, this is a cool one. Down below, the Axon dances. Green swirling hair, colourful cloth, wide, graceful moves, delicate swings of her wrists and arms. The group stand on the edge of a platform and watch her, so lost in her chroma that they can hardly breathe. Slowly, one by one, they fall into euphoric trance, raising their arms in the air and spinning in time with the music. Maëlle and Monoco are weirdly unaffected. This song is familiar, Maëlle says. What's going on? Lune giggles. I don't know. She's manipulating your emotions, Monoco grumbles. You need to stay focused. He clangs the bell on the end of his staff, snapping them out of it. Don't look at her for too long or you'll go insane, Verso says, blinking. I've seen people jump off cliffs from watching her. Spurred on by a need to get this over with quickly, the gang soon confront her. The music tinkles at Lune, and her mouth slowly opens. As her mother and father shimmer before her, parents long taken by the gamage. Maëlle sees Gustave. He smiles warmly at her as she reaches out to touch his cheek. Monoco sees his son, and Ciel sees her husband and her baby. Verso sees no one, only Serene. His resistance to her charms throws the Axon into a rage, and with a swipe of a gigantic hand, the visions of those long gone burst into petals. Serene's charm makes the battle tough, distracting members of the party into attacking each other, but between Verso's rallying cries and Monoco's bell, we beat her back.
Cool.
Lune delivers the killing blow, summoning all of her power and blasting her back with a small tear in her eye. Returning to camp, Maëlle hands the curator what he needs. Yes.
I just want to jump in with just one...
Yeah, because we're done with the Axons now.
Yeah, one discussion thought on Serene specifically. That's... I mentioned this to you when I got here. And honestly, at this point, this is not a spoiler because this legitimately may be beyond the point I got in the game. I know that there is one other optional zone on Serene's Island.
Yes.
That I never went to.
We're going to cover it.
Great.
I've got it.
Fantastic.
Yeah, don't worry, I've got it.
So that's an unknown to me. That's a black box to me.
Yeah, it's a cool one.
One of the weird ones with Serene specifically, and I mentioned this to you, is that Lune specifically seems to have some odd connection to Serene that I don't personally understand. Lune specifically keeps getting a lot of focus in that level. Lune is the only one who gets a Serene outfit.
Agreed. So there isn't a textual reason for it, but I would say, and we're going to cover that other area later, but there is almost a thematic reason for why it is the focus for her. I think it's just the game's attempt to really flesh out her and Ciel with the two Axons, and not for any lore reason, just to say, this is the Ciel bit, and this is the Lune bit, just so you get a moment.
Really get nearly as much focus?
No, it's not as much.
Like the other one, it's more of a Verso focus?
There's an argument that Lune is tied to this location for reasons that neither of you know, which we'll get into later, more than any of the others.
Yeah, I just wanted to point that out because like it's a weird one, and I remember mentioning it to you specifically because I was very confused by it when I got here.
Something I've found interesting about some of the ways things have been worded in relation to the music in the last couple of scenes. It's not that Maëlle, she's so young, but it's almost like it's not like she was meant to come here in the future. It's like she's been here before, or there are things here that she is there are things here that she's forgotten, or she doesn't know why she recognizes them, which is interesting. And I'm like, is this timey-wimey stuff? Is this, has Mael done this in the future / past? I don't know.
Yeah. Yep. Right, so we've taken out our Axons. We got our bits and bobs for the curator. Mael hands it all over, and as she does, flash. The curator vanishes, and in his place is Renoir. It happens just for a moment, but it's enough for her to fall back in fear. Why do I keep seeing things, she gasps, looking at the curator. Who are you? Wordlessly, the curator turns away, weaves his hand to the air, and produces a glimmering sword, the weapon that will break the barrier. Next stop, the Paintress. But first, a drink. Ciel's had a little chat with Esquie, and she's learned his secret. It turns out he's made of wine. Ciel pulls out a cup and pushes hard into Esquie's stomach. I'm sorry, Verso.
Jesus.
He vomits out wine, filling Ciel's cup. I stored my personal stash inside him years ago, Verso tells Looney.
Wow.
Oh, excellent vintages.
Water bag.
He's just a big water bag. Sorry, I just, before we move on, because maybe you don't want me to linger on it, but Renoir, in the vision there we got briefly, notably doesn't seem to have a scar over the eye, which the Renoir we've met does. And also, if Renoir is the collector, I keep forgetting his name.
Well, you think Renoir and the curator are the same person?
Well, I mean, that's sort of an implication there, is it?
Yeah, she in the curator's space is Renoir.
But then the curator seems to be working to absolutely opposite ends to Renoir, which is, no, here's the sword and you can end my immortality, which isn't what the Renoir we've met wants at all.
Yeah. Totally. And I will say that it's a shame this, because again, it's the nature of the lore dump, is I've put an image of this on screen, and it is on screen for half a second. So as a player, you don't even think about this. And I'm not going to tell you anything about any of your theories.
Move on.
Just note it.
Yeah.
Interesting theory for now. So yes, first was like, Esquie is made full of wine. I like to think that if he vomits up all the wine, does he just become really, really skinny?
A deflated football.
So Ciel holds her cup high.
What I'd really like to think is, how he can change in size? Does he suddenly, when he gets big, more wine? Free wine?
Free wine?
Free wine?
Yeah, he duplicates it. Yeah. So Ciel holds her cup high. She's like, to your great generosity. And she takes a big drink. Mael looks at Esquie. Do you have any apple juice? Sometime later...
I think that's called cider.
Sometime later, Verso struggles to sleep, heading to a cliff where he can brood sexily and look at the monument.
Where it can sound like Ben Starr.
Yeah, I don't know why I wrote sexily.
God,
but,
I'm so complicated.
There it is.
That is the exact... That's terrifying how good that was.
It. Yeah.
He's sitting in the corner, playing Bellatro on his phone. He's painting himself up as Jim Bellatro.
He broods.
God, I love Lordum.
Thanks, Ben Starr.
What are the chances that we can get Ben Starr to do an intro for Lord?
Oh, mate, I tried to find him on Cameo, but of course, he's a big actor now, so he doesn't do it anymore. A snapping of twigs and a rustle of branches, so Verso's alone at the cliff. Alicia steps out of the dark and approaches. She's carrying a letter and gently presses it into his hand. Verso stares at her with soft eyes before reaching out and removing her mask. My beautiful sister doesn't need this ugly mask, he says. He pulls Alicia in tight for a hug, and as he does, knock, knock, knock. Renoir arrives. You embrace her, though you condemn her to die, he says. Verso stiffens, but Renoir holds out a hand. I'm not here to fight. I'm here to ask if you've thought through the consequences. Do you know what it means to disappear into nothingness? We exist, and we will exist for as long as she wants. You want to spoil what we've been given? Your despair blinds you. You think you're ready to pay the price. But are you willing to let them pay the price for you? Renoir takes Alicia's hand, and the pair move off into the night, leaving Verso to contemplate his words. Part 11, The Paintress. The curator's weapon works. Near the monolith, Mael thrusts it forward and the barrier around the monolith shatters. Nothing stands between us and the Paintress now. The island where she's made her home is a dead land. The ground underneath is bathed in a golden light, but everything else is crumbling dust and ash. The gang works along the shore and see her. A humongous figure. She sits, arms folded and head buried.
See what I mean? This doesn't strike me as a somebody maliciously enjoying what they're doing. This seems somebody sitting in a pose of grieving from a distance. This looks like grief.
Or sleeping.
Or sleeping, sure.
Maëlle looks at her and narrows her eyes. For Gustave, Lune nods. For all of them. Verso sighs with a regretful look. One by one, the team lash out. She doesn't register a single strike. She takes no damage, but refuses to attack. Wait, Maëlle breathes. She steps forward, examining the Paintress's huge form. I don't think this is the... Woomph! The world turns monochrome. In the distance, the real Paintress steps forward. No longer humongous, just the shape of a woman with a smoking void in her face. Maëlle frowns softly and bursts into flame.
Oh my god.
Not just Maëlle, everyone except Verso and Monoco. They scream, burn, melt away until they aren't. As quickly as it began, it's over. The Paintress looks at them, turns, and walks through a strange portal, a ripple, a wet tear in the fabric of the world. The gang follow, and are suddenly inside the monolith. The journey to the top is coloured by visions. A woman teaching her children to paint, to play piano. That same woman sitting on a bench with a man by her side. The space between them growing heavy and wide. At the top of the monolith is Renoir. He blocks passage. We're taking her down, Verso says softly. It's a good fight.
Fuck this fight.
It's a good fight.
In a good way, mind. Yeah. This fight took me hours.
It's a toughie. We're taking her down, Verso says softly. You're not the only one who grieves, Renoir rumbles. The pain of losing you, she made me inherit it. Punishment, perhaps, for not being there when it mattered. I refuse to lose my son. That son was a stranger, Verso replies. But you're not, Renoir cries. A sob catches in his throat. You're not. You lost me years ago and I lost you. So you leave us no choice? Tell me, how are you any different from her in doing this? Verso shakes his head, looks into his father's eyes, and says the only thing he can. I'm so tired. Renoir casts an eye over the party, understanding on his face. Fine. If saving you means losing you, then so be it. This is not like the last time. With the end so close, the team are able to put their experience to the test. Renoir is mighty, but they cut him down, leaving him lying on a ground that blazes gold, yellow, and red. He falls to the ground and Maëlle charges forward, slashing and hacking at him. He might not be able to die, but she'll make him wish he could. Renoir coughs up blood, summoning his chroma to heal the wounds. Seeing her attacks are in vain, Maëlle stops, exhausted. He climbs to his feet and gives an exasperated smile. Come, let us celebrate the second destruction of the Descendre family. He slams his cane into the ground, drawing energy, ready for round 2, but something stops him. A padding of bare feet. Feet belonging to the curator. Renoir's almost amused as they look at each other. At long last we meet, he says. He gestures at Verso. This is all you have left of your son. He leans in and whispers his next words in the curator's ear. Destroying it won't bring back your wife. It will only destroy the last tie you have to each other. The curator turns, takes Maëlle's hand, and the pair of them press on to Renoir. Maëlle's not sure what's happening, but follows the curator's lead. As they touch him, Renoir starts to shudder. He doesn't fight it. He's accepted his fate. Red petals peel off of him as she shakes. I love them too, he says. His last words, he explodes into petals, gommaged.
If we are to assume then, as was teased in that little flash and maybe confirmed through some of the dialogue, that this is another Renoir? That this is 2 Renoirs? Yeah.
We did it, Gustave, Maëlle says with a small, sad smile. Ciel asks Verso what all of that was about. What did Renoir mean when he spoke to the curator? Verso sniffs. He tells her he's not sure. The Paintress waits ahead. Seeing her at last, Lune puts 2 and 2 together. Renoir mentioned the curator's wife. She's the Paintress? The Paintress looks at them and speaks. You've come back. But the fire, are you really Here? Or is he playing tricks again? She tilts her head at Mael. Alicia, your face. My face? Mael asks. What about my face? Are you going to burn it again? Alicia's your daughter, Ciel says, and Mael reminds you of her, the daughter you lost. The Paintress drifts back to Verso, touching his arm. Come along, let's go home. Words catch in Verso's throat. Yes, he says. You need to go home. The Paintress pulls her arm back. No, this is a trick. She is not Alicia, and you are not my Verso. You are his creations, not mine. You will not take this canvas from me. A blast of energy. The world ripples and warps around the team. A tempest of paint and air and magic. Verso looks at Lune and draws his sword. This is what we created the expeditions for. Lune nods. Tomorrow comes. Cue boss fight. The Paintress is ferocious. How cruel of your father to use you like this, she roars, summoning a paintbrush to tear holes in the sky. Beams of light jet down, and the team deflect each blast with gritted teeth. She shrieks, and the huge sculpted giant that sits at the base of the monolith rises up. The Paintress retreats inside her, puppeting it. Renoir can grieve however she likes, she shouts, but I get to grieve in my own way! Esquie! Verso shouts, and our wine-stuffed friend soars down. The team leap on his back, and they rise up to pursue the Paintress. Tell your father I don't need him to look out for me, she roars. A huge hand swipes at the team. Esquie dodge deftly, everyone holding on for dear life. They slash and cast and blast their way to the end, and eventually the giant puppet crumbles away, leaving the Paintress gasping on the floor. Don't celebrate yet, Verso says as the group nurses their wounds. We're not done. Lune summons a fireball and blasts it at the Paintress. The Paintress doesn't rise to her feet. Instead, she weaves her hand and heals Ciel. Verso rushes forward with a sword and brings it down, and the Paintress doesn't move. She heals Monoco. Mael thrusts forward and stabs her. The Paintress takes the blows in stride and heals Lune.
No.
On and on and on it goes like this, until finally it's over. Slowly, the Paintress starts to fade away into smoke and ink. She stumbles forward, falls into Verso's arms, and collapses. Rest now, Verso sobs. It'll be better soon. His voice cracks and his hands shake as the group gather around them. Mael reaches out, casting her mind back to how the curator killed Renoir, and presses her hand on the Paintress's chest. She closes her eyes, and the Paintress's body peels off into gold and red petals. Alicia, she whispers, before dying. The party celebration is sober as they prepare to head home. Surprise and confusion mark each of them. It's done, Monoco says. You're free. He looks at Verso. All of you. Is this real? Mael mutters. Yes, Ciel smiles, and I'm pretty sure Gustave is watching over us. She summons a black flag with the number 33 sewn into it. Here. Mael plants it in the ground. What now? We go back to Lumiere and life just goes on? Yes, Ciel breathes a sigh of relief. Decades and decades of light out in front of us. What do we even do now with all of this time? I guess this is what it feels like to be immortal. She catches Verso's eye. He forces a stiff smile. Any thoughts, Neil? Because that's it. Paintress dead.
Wow. No, I mean, it feels like we're not at the end. It feels like it raised more questions than it answered. You know, the fact that we have had a Renoir and presumably created Renoir. The fact that we've got Verso and her real son Verso that she was talking about, and one created by Renoir. We've got Mael and Alicia being frequently confused, which I don't think is a coincidence. I do think that Mael is part of their family in some way, if a created version of herself or not. I feel like all of these questions are still hanging over us.
So the team go back to Lumiere, and news spreads fast. Soon everyone gathers at the dock to celebrate. The number has disappeared from the monolith, the erasure of something heralding a new future. The people are surprised and curious about Monoco. Some of the children run forward and poke at Esquie's tummy, who immediately starts dancing to music being played nearby. Maëlle approaches the schoolboys who gave Gustave his journal. They look at her expectantly and their smiles falter when she shakes her head, pulling the journal out and handing it to them. A reminder that even now, in the midst of a happy ending, tomorrow won't come for everyone. Verso finds a moment alone, finally pulling out the letter that Alicia gave him. Brother, it reads, I tire of the conflicts and deceptions that plague our family, so I entrust you with this letter. Whether you give it to her is up to you. I'm at peace with what's to come. When the time comes, I hope you will be too. Maëlle, it's a strange feeling watching you with my brother, laughing and smiling without the scars or memories that afflict me. Alicia as she was meant to be, not this painted version that I am. My family is a facsimile of yours, and this world a mirror, painted by your mother, the Paintress, to stave off her grief. Seeing your expedition through will plunge us all into the abyss, for in ridding the world of the Paintress, you would lose the sole force standing against the one who would erase us, the one who invokes the flowers of the gommage. It's an act of love, for he does love her, your father. On her monolith, she paints a warning for us all. So it's a warning, that's what the number is.
God.
Like, if you're 33, you're about to go. It's a countdown. Of the few she can save as her power wanes, we all wish for our families to thrive. Your family, however, believes only one can survive. You'll remember that Renoir talked about the Descendre family. Yeah. But perhaps you will find another way, you who've lived amongst us. Perhaps you differ from your father and your sister, as I differ from mine. Your mother paints life, and your father paints death. What will you paint? Verso throws the letter into the ocean. He looks out at the monolith. A rumble. An explosion erupts from the monolith. He closes his eyes expectantly as a wave of magic hits Lumiere like a sonic boom. Immediately, Maëlle knows something is wrong, even while those around her keep smiling. The final gommage. With the Paintress gone, there's nobody left to protect them from it. The people of Lumiere crumble and fade into petals. Gustave's journal clatters to the ground as the schoolboys disappear. Ciel looks down at her hands and sees them crumble away. Maëlle runs to Looney, tries to catch her, but there's nothing she can do. Soon, she's left alone on the dock. She looks down at her hands, and white petals bloom from her palms. She joins her friends in death, fading into nothingness. And the credits roll.
Fuck off.
And the credits roll.
Okay.
It's a fucking wild ending.
What'd you think?
I want to know what comes after, though.
I really want to scroll back and find my messages to you during this entire last segment, because it's just so many full caps messages of me going, what the fuck is going on?
So to
Two big fights and then a big letter that's a lore dump. Let me go back to the lore dump.
So to recap, just to make sure I understand, the island, the whatever you want to call do we have a word for it?
Lumiere.
No, where they go.
Oh, they call it the continent?
The continent.
Yeah.
So is it that everything on the continent is a reflection? Is the reflection as painted by the matriarch of this mirror family?
Yep. My family is a facsimile of yours, and this world a mirror, painted by your mother, the Paintress, to stave off her grief.
Yeah, okay.
Because we've had visions throughout of, a burning building.
Yeah.
Renoir has spoken previously about, how that exchange between Verso and Renoir, where it's like, I'm not your son. And he's like, but you're real. And, it's like, you matter to me. Someone real died. And clearly this world has been created. The Paintress is effectively a god of this world. So the gods have lost their son. And it seems like they've tried to effectively fake that. I don't know. There's a lot of information to learn. There's lots for us to theorize on. This is why I told you it's a long ending. And there's a lot to talk about at the end. Because you got it. You got all the information.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, I'm lying. There is an epilogue.
Of course there is.
Yes. Epilogue. Alicia. A glimpse into the past. Monolith year 49. Alicia Desandra shoots awake in her bed. In the manor they keep returning to. Face scarred, hair red. She tries to speak, but her vocal cords have burned away. A woman calls out to her, summoning her. Alicia, a stern voice says, quit dawdling, I'm in Father's atelier. Inside, we see gorgeous paintings hung high on the walls. Visage, the mask keeper. Serene, the dancer. Visage isn't there, sorry, that's something else. We'll talk about that in a bit. But pictures of the Axons.
I actually have no clue what the one on the left is. And
that's fun.
I remember asking you that. I remember telling you that I had no clue what it was, and you didn't answer me.
On a canvas in the middle of the room is a huge shimmering painting, shapeless. Renoir and his wife, Aline, are frozen in front of it, eyes dim as if their souls have left their bodies in the middle of an argument. Slowly, it seems their skin has started to melt into paint. Finally, a woman says, stepping into the room. This is Clea, Alicia's...
the other woman from the family portrait, is it?
Yes. Clea, her big sister, Alicia's big sister. And notably, whilst we seem to have seen like copies of everybody or something, you know, in this world, there's not been Clea. We haven't seen Clea anywhere. Interesting. Our little shadow is awake, Clea says. Our parents are quite the stubborn pair, still fighting each other inside the canvas. He has her imprisoned at the top of her monolith, and she has him trapped beneath. It's a stalemate. Still, they've spent longer than this in other canvases. She kicks the ground with frustration. Renoir is wasting time in there trying to help someone who doesn't want his help. But still, we have more urgent matters to attend to. Through talking with Clea, a few things are laid out for us, and this is a long conversation. I'm just going to tell you what we learn in brass tacks. First, this is the real world. Our world. Well, there's magic in this world, but think of it as our world. It's still a world tinged with magic, though. In fact, some people are able to paint worlds and then live in those worlds.
As a sort of projecting an avatar of themselves into that world. Because their bodies are here.
Yes.
But they're the avatars of themselves.
The avatar of themselves. But there's like a soul connection.
Yeah.
That's why it seems like they're like melting to paint or something. We'll talk a bit about that in a minute.
Welcome to where the entire game gets complicated and every theory breaks.
So some people are able to paint worlds and then live in those worlds. Others are able to write worlds and then live in those worlds. Very Alan Wake. Painters and writers are at war with each other. The family, the Desandra family, have this ability, and years ago, they experienced an awful tragedy. Their son, Verso, died in a fire. It was an attack by the writers, and while we don't know the specifics and we will never learn, we do know that Alicia is partly responsible for that attack. It seems the writers tricked her somehow. The implication is that Verso once ran in to save her, got trapped, burned to death. That's why she's burned herself. Aline, the paintress, spiraled into grief, obsessively painting a fantastical world where he would be alive. So the grief of the death of her son, she basically took over this world. Now, I will tell you, actually, no, that's not fair. The canvas was created by Verso. This world that we've been in, the continent, that was a world created by Verso, and then Aline almost wanted to live in his world to have a connection to him, so she painted over it and changed it to be part of it, to get in there. So This is Verso's creation we've been running around, but it's been altered by the paintress, by his mother.
So is Lumiere a real place that has become kind of invaded by this canvas world?
No.
Or is it all part of the canvas?
It's all the canvas, and it's how we'll be referring to the world from now on.
So in Verso's originally painted world, he was an avatar of him or some sort of representation of him, was just a regular person in the part of the expedition.
Yeah, you could effectively they used it, I'll tell you now, they used it for playtime. You could almost like project yourself into the world and play around with your creations and things like that. And the family would do that almost like family vacations. I've got a chunk more here that will add a bit more. Yeah. So yes, Verso created the world. And the paintress has changed it. She's obsessively painted a fantastical world over it. It's the fracture that we talked about at the beginning. Her painting over it was the fracture, changing it, but the essence is still Verso's. In there are original creations made by the little boy Verso. Gestrals, they were his. Esquie was his. In fact, this is a tiny reveal right at the end, but I'll just tell you now because it adds a bit of punch to it. Esquie is a doll that he has, that the little boy had in the real world, and he just wanted to turn him into a real friend. Monoco was the family dog. That's why Monoco's like, I feel like I've known him my whole life. And while he's always loyal to him and stuff. The Paintress then added her own creations. A copy of her son alive and well, the Verso that we know. A copy of her husband, a version that supported all of her decisions, the Renoir that we battled. A copy of Alicia, scarred and burned, punished forever for causing Verso's death.
Jesus.
Fucked. Her husband, Renoir, saw how his wife had disappeared into her grief, and he followed her into the canvas, the real Renoir. He planned to destroy the canvas and bring her back.
The curator.
Yes, he is the curator. This led to the fracture. For years, the pair have struggled. He is the reason the gommage happens. He thinks destroying the canvas will force Aline to come back to her family. She's using the last of her power to slow it down. That's why it's only once a year, only a few die in once a year, but her power is waning. Clea is frustrated with the whole situation. Grief is no excuse, she says. We're all grieving. Our mother's a grown woman and she was the head of the Painters' Council. She failed in her responsibilities. The world doesn't stop simply because our family is in mourning. I am going away. There are things I need to do if we painters are to survive. You will do nothing. You are too weak to be useful. You would be a liability. The writers used you against us once before. They won't hesitate to use you again. And I can't promise I'll make the same choice Verso made. Verso traded his life for yours. I both love him and hate him for that.
God, this family are the fucking worst.
They're very complicated.
They're the
Specifically
worst.
A weird one. Clea is my personal biggest black box. I know incredibly.
You're going to learn a lot about her because it's all extra stuff.
I know that she. I know that
Clea's
she's
a fucking monster.
That's what I was gonna say.
Sorry, comments.
The treatment of Alicia by Clea and her mother, this family are the fucking worst.
Yeah.
I'm on the fence about Renoir because we actually know very little about the real Renoir, other than he is, he's causing the gommage. Then you get into a conversation about, are these real people he's killing?
I will say, I've actually, it's not fair that I phrased it the way I did, and I think it actually paints Aline worse than she is. The idea that Aline, made Alicia this scarred person as a punishment, I've added that. That's my own interpretation. Nobody says that textually, but I read it as that. You don't need to read it like that, and I want to be clear.
That it's definitely textually stated that Aline was a very hard mother. Especially a lot of the visions you get in the monolith.
And Verso was her favorite. I think that's
both of
the
those
key
are really
thing.
clear. Yeah.
Verso was the Paintress's favorite child.
Yeah, she was a strict teacher, strict mother, and this was the problem child.
And again, what does grief do to you? So Clea mulls on things for a second before giving Alicia an instruction. If you really want to be useful, then enter the canvas and help Renoir. Again, Clea's that kid that doesn't call her parents mom and dad. It's like first names only. It's fucking irritating. I need him back here sooner rather than later. I'll fight this war alone if I have to, but I'd really rather not. Oh, and repaint your throat while you're in there before you completely forget to have a conversation. Again, all of her vocal cords burned away in the fire. So Clea feels pissed off, right? I called her a monster, but there's depth here. Clea is pissed off because she's effectively fighting this war with the writers alone because her entire family have just lost themselves in the canvas. They're not dealing with their grief. They're not doing anything they're supposed to do. And Clea, quite similar to Lune, is throwing herself into work to get through the grief of losing Verso. We can talk about it now. You will never learn any more about the war between the writers and the painters. It is obviously such a fascinating concept. We have talked previously about how there might be another Clair Obscur game, and our thoughts might be that you could do other worlds and things.
Presumably
relating to that.
writer-led.
This is kind of where the thought that I tried to lead into without going too far when I mentioned earlier they want to make more Clair Obscur games and that they might be separate stories.
Yeah.
But whilst there's never going to be an Expedition 34 because they're probably not going to do more things in this canvas, it's will they do things in the wider universe of the painters and the writers and the yada yada and more stories in that universe? Or whether it will be entirely separate.
And I think you'd find it would be Expedition 32, actually.
Well, exactly.
Oh,
yeah,
you're so correct. I'm sorry.
So correct, bestie.
I'm sorry.
So before she goes into the canvas, Alicia points out that she should hide the canvas, the physical canvas. If they do pull Mama out of it, she'll just try to return again. It's like it's become an addiction for her. Clea agrees and specifically points out that it's such a clever hiding spot you've chosen. Now remember, this only ends if you destroy the canvas, and that means stopping the final sliver of Verso's soul from painting. Because again, when you create a work of art in this world, the magic, you put a piece of yourself into it.
So this is Maëlle, is it? This is the piece of herself that's come into the world Alicia is Mael, as well as the Alicia that we see. That's a different Alicia that we see helping her parents variously.
That's paint. We're going to call them painted. Painted
But
Alicia, yeah.
But Mael is this Alicia going in to try and destroy the
real
canvas.
life person.
Yes.
Yeah. Real life, a painter. Yes. So again, it's this idea, and it makes sense. You understand where Aline is coming from. You know, she loses her baby boy, and there's nothing left of him except for the work of art that he created, which quite literally has a piece of his soul inside it. She goes in, makes a fake version of her son, and thinks we can live this world. Renoir comes in and goes, "No, I need you to come out so we can deal with this together, like in reality." And she's like, "No, leave me to my grief."
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Big fight.
It's absolutely beautiful.
We're going to explore it.
Yeah.
So the plan made sense. Everything went wrong almost immediately, though. Alicia lost herself in the paint. She panicked, and the paint painted over her. She was reborn as a baby, as one of the Paintress's creations, Mael. Act 3, Mael.
Wow, cool. Let's do it.
Part 12, the canvas.
No get fucked for me.
No,
this
you
Act
like
3
this twist?
reveal.
It's the mega twist. It's the
Yeah.
entire world is now tipped on its head.
And I will say, this is probably where me and Monty's
I love
opinions
this.
start to diverge.
Yeah.
Is Monty thinks this is a masterwork of writing.
Yes.
I think... And I might need to go into this a bit more later. I think the way they've done it is a cop-out. And I love the idea, and I love the thoughts in the world, but I don't like the way they've implemented it. I think we need to finish for me to actually get.
That was going to be what I was saying. Because whilst
Yeah.
it's good for you to log that, I would like us to have that conversation when the credits roll.
Yeah, because I have a couple other thoughts for credits, and I know part of why they went this way.
Because I don't want either of us to sway Neil, because really,
Exactly,
not
yes.
to put the pressure on you, Neil, it really matters to me what you think of this at the end, because both takes are valid, but I want to see how you think they handle this. So,
Yeah, I
let's-
just to put the specific in my thing, this twist is why it is an 8 of 10 game for me, and not a 10 out of 10.
and this twist is why it's a 10 out of 10 for me,
exactly.
not an 8 out of 10.
This is
Yeah.
where we diverge.
Okay, so,
Art, baby.
Act 3, Mael, Part 12, The Canvas. Lumiere is dead. The final gamage has swept across the city, taking everyone. The last petals fall. As a white-haired girl walks the streets, coming across Verso, sitting crestfallen on a bench. "Alicia," he mutters. "Actually," she smiles, all of her memories returned. "I prefer Mael." "I think I do too," Verso hushes. "But I'm not really Verso, and you're not really Mael, are you?" "You're not Verso, no. You look and sound just like him, but you're you. I'm still Mael, though. You should have helped me remember that." "I know. I wanted to, but..." Finally, Verso stops making excuses and says what he needs to say. "I'm sorry. Mama did a terrible thing painting you into Verso's canvas," Mael says, "giving you his memories, pretending the fire only took me, but I am glad you exist. Your father was right to erase everyone. It's better this way." "Better for who? Verso would never have wanted his canvas gone. It was killing our mother, staying so long in a make-believe world with a make-believe family. It's not make-believe. It's not. You're not. Not to me." She senses something, someone approaching. "Papa's here," she says. "He'll help me fix Lumiere." "Will he?" Verso says, not believing her. "Maman painted a rather unflattering picture of him," Mael smiles. "He's much warmer than the Renoir that you know. He'll help us, bring everyone back. I hit the canvas before I entered, so Maman can't come back again." She calls her Maman, not Mama. "There's no need to erase it."
Mammal.
Was it Maman? Maman. "There's no need to erase it now." Her father waits in the square. The curator. With a flourish of petals, the smoking, void-bitten creature washes away, and we meet the real Renoir. No need to hide his identity anymore.
It's very funny that they've chosen to name I mean, it's obviously deliberate, but you know, they've given him the name of one of the most famous painters who's ever lived.
Yeah, it's a good point.
You know, and I'm not an expert on you know, high art, classical painting, but I feel like I haven't noticed any other names of painters among the cast.
Not to my knowledge. Yeah.
Cool. Anyway,
it's an interesting
but
point.
it's probably just a cool sounding French name, so that's.
I mean,
why they picked
it's
it.
got
Yeah.
that beautiful kind of balance of like Renoir sounds like a father's name. You
Yeah.
know, like you get those names, and it also sounds like a villain's name.
Yeah.
So it could be both, and it's nice. So we meet the real Renoir. He doesn't need to hide anymore. Mael and Renoir hold each other tight. He looks older than his painted counterpart, tired. He casts an eye over Verso and approaches. Some of Aline's finest work. I regret that it caused you so much pain. What my wife did was unfair to you most of all. Please, accept the Descendre family's apologies. Verso doesn't know what to say. Just earlier that day, he held his father in his arms. Renoir smiles at him. I know it seems absurd to offer oblivion as recompense, but perhaps that's the outcome we both desire. Mael's face crumples. What? I'm proud of you, Renoir says. Getting your mother out of the canvas was not easy, but once we erase the canvas, we won't have to worry anymore. But she's at home. I hid the canvas. You know your mother, Renoir cuts off. Verso painted this canvas, his only canvas. It contains a piece of his soul. She'll never willingly part with it. She'll find it. For the sake of the living, we must part with the dead. You will remember that Verso plays piano, and seems quite interested in music. Quite contrast to all the painter aspects of the rest of the family. Just something to note for now. No, Papa, you don't understand. You can't destroy the last piece of Verso that we have. It's my home now. You can't just decide. Renoir's face twitches. Your home? Alicia, you will die. You've already been here longer than you should. I am not letting my daughter risk her life. I'm not Mama. I'm not going to lose myself if I stay. Frustration lines Renoir's face briefly, but it's replaced entirely by fear. I am your father, he says, shaking. I know full well that you will, and I am not doing this again. He smacks his cane into the ground and thum, a gommage erupts from it, bringing red paint to Lumiere and striking Verso in the heart. He looks down, starting to fade away.
Gosh.
And Mael reaches out with a hand, using her own Paintress abilities to reverse it. Verso stops fading. The petals return to him. Renoir stares at her in surprise.
Poor fucking guy. He's like, oh, just let me go. Oh, God. You're
Verso's
pulling me
whole
back.
thing. The thing is, like, Verso's...
Sweet death.
He literally had, like, 2 or 3 conversations with people where it's like, it'd be lovely if I could just die, by the way. And now here comes Renoir going, do you want... I can do that. And I was like, no! My brother! Yeah, come back! And the whole time I will say this, Verso just isn't really reacting to anything. He's just kind of stunned. Yeah. He doesn't really know what to think of any of it. So Verso stops fading. She fixes it. The petals return to him. Renoir stares at her in surprise, but before he can react, before he can try again, Mes amis! Esquie roars. Monoco is on his back. It seems that they were protected from the gommage too because they are original creations of the original Verso. That's my reading. They swoop down and scoop up Mael and Verso, escaping Lumiere. That night at camp, Mael tries to practice her Paintress skills. If she can reverse the gommage, maybe she can bring everybody back to life. Verso steps alongside her, guides her hand, uses the memories of his real-life counterpart to help reawaken the Paintress within. Renoir created the Axons, he says. The mask keeper was Verso. The dancer was Aline. Think about how he did that, how he imbued his creations with purpose and meaning. Painting isn't about verisimilitude. It's about essence, the truth of who they are. So that's why you get that must have been Verso line. Whoosh! Ciel and Lune pop back into existence. Gosh. The whole gang is back together. Mael and Verso catch everyone up. White hair, don't care, Dad's the baddie, let's kick his ass. The team ask Mael if she could bring everyone back, but the TLDR is right now she's not strong enough to do it again. She needs chroma, the world's magic. I mentioned to you right at the beginning there's strange like blue splodges and lumps in Lumiere. It's bits of paint. And I've tried to be quite purposeful with some of my descriptions and out of action throughout. The things are a painter-like and painty. And again, it's because the whole world is just fucking paint.
We're in
so
a
good.
painting, yeah.
Verso won't stop apologizing to everybody for keeping secrets and explains he really does want to die, but he's going to help them stop Renoir first, and then he'll figure something else out.
Yeah.
Lune is pissed, but the rest of the gang forgive him. He's clearly dealing with a lot. They get it. I'm not a real person.
We all just discovered we're paint people, all right? Let's just try and end this.
I've been alive for 100 years. Yeah. I thought you would be more upset, Verso says. I was, CL says. I got over it, because guess what? I just learned that death isn't death anymore, and that means I can see my husband again. I mean, please, she shoots Verso a look. I'd sacrifice you in a heartbeat to get him back, so I get it. We're good.
Boo.
Love her.
They can't shag anymore.
Yeah, I don't go into it, do I?
I did notice you didn't mention that they shag.
You, as an optional thing, if you up max out your relationship with her, they can bone a lot. They bang. It's great.
You can romance both Lune and CL.
And I don't think I have it here, but also he helps her get over her fear of water. It's a beautiful, tender scene.
Yeah,
they go swimming together. Yeah, it's lovely.
Which I think is when they do shag is right after that.
Right after. Yeah.
Wet painted bodies slapping together. Creamy emulsion dripping from the scene.
Not where I was going, but shockingly for me, not where I was going. But
I don't know.
Paint me like one of your French girls.
Right, okay, so yeah, Verso is dealing with a lot. Esquie pats him on the shoulder and is like, Esquie can be sad, or bad, or even rad, but never ever mad. Esquie can be rad. Monoco tells us that he will always stay loyal to Verso, but with his new knowledge that they're all creations of Verso and the Paintress, he wonders if the only reason he's loyal is because he was made that way. That night, Maëlle writes in Gustave's journal. So no matter what happens, the truth will be written somewhere. She decides that before they face Renoir, there's something she needs to do. Find Alicia. So I'll tell you right now. It's all side stuff now. Because it explains things and fleshes things out in interesting ways. If you wanted to, you could eventually go to the final boss right now. Just go back to where Renoir is and do that. But the game very much opens up and goes, by the way, there's a bunch of fucking shit to see, like really important pivotal lore stuff to do. So you go do that if you want to.
I love a game that is it's about art and grief and loss and how we support people around us and all that good stuff, but also just like the final question here is posing is like, well, what is being alive? What is being alive? How do we define it? How do we define life and therefore give it value?
And how do you define death? If life is undefinable, what is death?
Do these people who are born and raised and live a life and have their own children, one party is essentially saying, no, they're not valid. They were created and they are fictional. But how do we differentiate them, honestly?
And you know me, I love a game where you get to kill God. And if the Dissandras in this world are effectively the gods of this world that have created these beings, I love this idea. But there's a lot of grey to go, which will really flesh out where we go. So let's go and speak to Alicia. This is an optional thing that we do, but it's important. Alicia is with the third Axon in a tower called the Reacher. Rickety bridges and strange wooden structures take us to the top, and as we climb, we see a huge pair of legs. This is far bigger than anything else we've seen. That's an ankle, you know?
Those are the legs of a certain species of brush-headed scamps.
It does look a little gestrally, you're right, but it's not connected to the gestrals. It is strange though that it's in regard, because again, bear in mind the Axons were all created by Renoir. The gestrals were made by Verso. But yeah, maybe it's he's taking inspiration from his son, you could argue.
I will tell you, my save file in this game is currently
here,
immediately after the mime fight in here.
I know exactly where we are.
So it's about halfway through the Reacher.
Oh, wow. Sorry, mate. I'm about to spoil all of Act 3.
By all means. I'm really glad you are. And I have already had a lot of it spoiled for me, so that's fine. But this is just going to give it to me in better context than the random bits and pieces I've had scattered. But yes, this is where I am. Pretty much everything post to this is where my black box is.
Fun. Okay, right. So, Lune looks at the big Axon. She goes like, how did it get so large? And Verso's like, she wasn't always this tall, but she's obsessed with reaching the stars, so... Maëlle scoffs. Papa and his parables. He never painted just to paint. Everything has to have layers and layers of meaning and purpose. Everything is a lesson. So what's the lesson with this one? Lune asks quietly, measuring the size of the task ahead. Hope, Maëlle says. The tower is infested with strange nevrons, scarecrows, straw men, but at the halfway mark they find someone strange. A man with a huge green hay bale for a face. A giant top hat sits on his head. He's tinkering with sculptures and inventions. Gustave would have loved this, but is this creature supposed to be Renoir? He holds up a pair of wings and offers them to Maëlle as if to say, here you go, glide. But she shakes her head. Vertigo, she says. Remember? The straw man sadly and wordlessly puts the wings back on the desk. My father's intentions are good. He's great. He's just working away.
The strawmen are great.
Again, if Verso is Well, we'll get there. My father's intentions are good, Maëlle explains to the group, but his methods, without realizing, she starts to babble. Clair was the oldest, so obviously the favourite. Her skills as a paintress could rival mother and father. Then Verso, he always found a way to make Papa laugh. They had so many inside jokes. And then there was me. The actual favourite, Verso says. The one he calls his hidden star, but who's too shy and self-conscious to see it. Look around, he points at the wings. He just wants you to fly. Oof. I also love that idea that the three siblings, like, it is that, I mean, we're all, Chase, you have siblings, don't you? Mm-hmm. We're all siblings. We know that feeling of thinking the other one's the favourite, and but they think you're the favourite, and nobody really knows who the favourite is.
No, I do.
Yeah, I do, because I have one boy. He is my favourite.
I'm well aware, and it's not me. And both my siblings, we've had conversations about this.
Oh. Do you want to unpack? You okay?
Okay. I've talked about this in therapy. Good. We've been there.
So up we go, higher and higher, eventually reaching the top of the tower where Alicia waits. She's painting the Axon. We still can't see the full size of it, but it seems we've reached the top of its head. That head is a huge straw hat with a giant hole in it. When she senses the group, she waves her hands, and time freezes. The world turns monochrome. As always, only Maëlle is immune. She blames us, doesn't she? Maëlle says to Alicia. Maman, you didn't deserve that. Alicia gives a small smile, takes off her mask, and stretches out her arm. The Axon leans forward, and the two girls walk through the hole in its head. Inside is a doll, a crude facsimile of Alicia sat in a chair. A white mask covers its face, a single hole where one of its eyes should be. The real Axon, Maëlle breathes, understanding everything. The giant Axon is just a puppet. She looks at Alicia. You know that father painted them? Alicia nods. Of course she does. With that same small, calm smile, she draws her sword and points it at Maëlle. On guard. The battle is more of a sparring match, and when it ends, neither have drawn blood, but there's something cathartic about it. A game, a chance to play together. This Axon represents father's hope for us, Maëlle says. As she and Alicia rejoin the others, she calls to it. Go! Claim your piece of the sky! The Axon groans, creaks, and leaves. Maëlle looks at Alicia and flicks her wrist. Their battle taught her what she needs to know, a way to unfreeze time. We both deserve to fly, she said. Let me give you a new beginning. Send me to my family, Alicia whispers through broken vocal cords. Maëlle? Verso calls over, seeing what's happening. What are you doing? Alicia smiles as her skin peels into petals. Maëlle! Maëlle, no! Verso stumbles forward and tries to grab Alicia, but when he reaches her, his hand slips through nothing but petals. Her wish granted, Alicia is set free. I'm sorry, Maëlle says. It's what she wanted. We owed her that much. You didn't wait, Verso mutters. You didn't even give me a chance to persuade her. She knew what she wanted. You wouldn't have been able to sway her. She's not you. You don't know that. I know her better than you, and you didn't even give me a chance to try. You just erased her. You've lost 2 brothers. You know what it's like to lose your sibling and never get the chance to say goodbye. Verso gives a bitter laugh. You painters. You just do what you want. You don't care how it affects the rest of us. Our whole world turns on your grief. A beat, and then... You're right. I'm sorry. I should have given you a chance to say goodbye. Verso sighs. Despite his frustration, he understands why Maëlle did what she did. At least she's free now, he says. Quick thing, I saw someone in our Discord say that Verso confesses here that he let Gustave die to motivate Maëlle into defeating the Paintress. That he was like standing on a cliff nearby watching. Maybe I missed something, but this did not happen in my playthrough, nor did it happen in the playthrough I watched while writing the script. It might be an optional conversation, but I'm chucking in just in case. But for the purpose of this, guys, I don't think that happens. I haven't seen that.
Obviously, I don't know, but I could see it.
I wouldn't put it past him.
I would not put it past Verso, unfortunately.
Yeah. No, totally. I wouldn't put it past him. I'm putting it in there as a maybe this happens, but I don't.
Yeah.
I can't see it.
About the only people Verso seems to really care about are Maëlle and the Painted family.
100%. Yeah. Verso just wants to die.
Also that.
Yeah. Having said that, it's still quite an extreme step for him. Despite his nihilism, we haven't seen him actively do something on the level of sacrifice somebody.
100%. We have not seen that.
We've heard it mentioned from prior expeditions, though, where he's kind of just let them die. Like, he's not really tried to save them or anything.
I was going to get to that, but we could talk about it now. Yeah. Neil, basically, some of the expeditions that he journeyed with, sometimes he just let them die. A couple of them he killed himself as alongside Renoir back when they were working together.
I missed that part. I didn't actually know that part. I just knew the one thing that died.
So we hear something about that. A hint about that really early on, don't we?
And I will say that, so they're the first expedition to come back and share the news. And what happened was on their first expedition when they were doing the fracture, I don't have it here, but this will help contextualize. They went, and what they discovered was basically Clea stepped into the canvas to speak to them. These painted men, and she was like, "You're both fake. You're not real. You are immortal. Here's the powers of immortality. Your job, do help me destroy the canvas." And they're like, "No," and they got to a fight with real world Clea, and they returned to Lumiere and were like, "Guys, this is a painted world. This is mental. What are we going to do?" And the people of Lumiere just turned their backs on them. They were like, you're nuts. Whatever you're talking about doesn't make sense. Some of the other expeditioners attacked. They got into a big fight, and then they went off to deal with their own thing. And as a result, Renoir, of course, because Renoir was designed to support Aline no matter what. So he was like, fine, we just do whatever the Paintress tells us to do. She wants to stay alive and live in this world. That's what we're going to do. Anyone who comes to try and kill her, we will stop them. And Verso over time just got tired of killing his friends. And that's where he is now. So Verso's done some bad stuff, but it's a complicated history for him. Some more stops before we get back to the main story. I want to talk about Clea. So I am going to dispense with all of the dramatic flair and just tell you a bit about her because I didn't really know where to put this. It's endgame stuff that takes place whenever you want it to have taken place. But Clea's Axon was called the Hauler, a creature that carried a whole city on its back. You'll remember we went back and Chase, you pointed one of the Axons? Yeah. Just like how...
Was that the Axon? Because I don't remember if you meant...
There are 4 Axons. The Hauler is the 4th and final one.
And okay, the one that I'm thinking of then I think is the one that was in Old Lumiere, which is...
That's the Hauler, the dead one.
That is the Hauler. Okay,
Yes.
got it.
Yeah. So there was one back in Old Lumiere that they pointed out, and Verso was like, "Oh, it's an Axon." That's the Hauler, and the Hauler is already dead. Something else killed it. The Hauler was a creature that carried a whole city on its back, just like how Renoir secretly saw Clea as carrying her family on her back, while he and his wife bickered through their grief. Again, she's the one leading the war. I say was because it got killed before the events of this game. It got killed by this guy, Simon. Simon of Expedition Zero, an old friend of Verso's. A man,
From Expedition Zero.
he was in love with the painted version of Clea, painted Clea. In fact, Simon came this close to actually killing the Paintress himself, but it was all a trick by the real Clea. So he was in love with painted Clea. Real Clea came in and almost took over her painted self, and then tricked Simon and manipulated his love for her painted version to try and make him go and kill the Paintress.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Is he missing an arm like Gustav?
He is, yes. Yes, from his fight with the Hauler. Real Clea kidnapped painted Clea, replaced her. Also, she could manipulate poor Simon into freeing the Curator. So through shenanigans and trickery, poor heartbroken Simon freed the Curator from a prison that was made by the Paintress. So during that fracture, that early war, the Paintress
Renoir
managed to imprison him.
imprisoned.
And that's the reason why he's
Real
floating around.
Renoir.
Real Renoir, the Curator. We find Simon. It's an optional boss fight. It is the hardest fight in the game. It's his end game fight, and he's nuts. It's a crazy good boss, but it's one of those crazy tricky ones. It's the hardest boss fight in the game, bar none. We fight Simon, a twisted dark version of him, and a secret boss that is the best fight in the game. We also find painted Clea. Now a shadow of her former self, we learn that she has been the one creating Nevrons.
I was going to ask about that because they didn't really line up.
There's a bunch of little side quests where you can find we can find them white Nevrons, and they're like, the lady, the Paintress, she said that she would look after me, and you can help some of them. They're not all antagonistic. And if you do that, over time, you will eventually learn that it's Clea who made the Nevrons to help in Renoir's fight against the Paintress.
Just to clarify, because this goes slightly against what I had understood actually based on conversation with you, because I was going to ask, I wasn't sure whether you were intentionally not including the white Nevrons.
Just mention them here.
So was it real Clea or painted Clea who made the Nevrons? Because my understanding was real Clea.
Sorry, it's real. Yeah, sorry, I said she, and you're right. They are 2 different people.
Okay,
it's
cool.
Real Clea made the Nevrons.
So this is what is left after she stopped possessing painted Clea.
Yeah, just a shadow.
So,
Makes sense.
so when you had the long years of the Nevrons fighting with the paintbrush people, that is really like
Verso and Clea fighting.
Verso and Clea's what's left of them in this world, fighting.
This is quite kind of short and sweet. She doesn't speak, and it's really sad. When you fight, she summons things like the Lamp Master, the Duelist, which is an incredible boss fight that we did not cover, but it's basically Pontiff Sullivan from Dark Souls 3.
Oh my god, it literally
Yeah,
is.
you got double swords.
It literally
Really
is.
cool.
The dual swords on fire.
She basically summons a bunch of previous bosses that you fought, and you have to fight like 3 of them at once on her behalf. She's also a difficult fight, a very cool fight. And when it all ends, she manages to use the last of her Paintress power to undo herself, and she dies. She doesn't say a word the whole fight. It's really sad. Painted Clea, pretty cool. Real Clea kind of sucks.
They are not the same people, are they?
Not the same people.
That's really cool.
They have diametrically opposing views, most of the versions of the... Look at Renoir.
Yeah. Cool. One last stop. The DLC. Verso's Drafts.
Ooh.
Let's get silly before we get to the ending.
Okay.
You got anything else for me, Chase?
It was just you mentioned that we were going to visit some of the other islands.
No, that's it. All the other islands I find to be kind of like whatever.
Oh, just because you specifically made mention to the one on Serene's Island.
Oh God, yeah. Do I not cover this?
I don't know.
Let me triple check, because if not, I will
And
cover it in a couple of sentences.
There's a few other things that I'm aware of, but I know no details around. Like there's a Gestrals of a casino, a magic casino.
We
there's
don't
a
cover
dragon in the sky that I have no clue what the fuck it is.
Yeah,
There's
it's a dragon.
Houses in the skies.
Fight the dragon.
There's a bunch of painting workshops that I don't know what they are. That I don't know. I'm not sure how many of these are like lore versus just.
The
gameplay
painting
goodies.
workshops are part of you learn about how Clea made the Nevrons. That's what the workshops are, yeah. That's all stuff that you will get to discover in your own time. I will quickly tell you about that part of Serene, because I did talk about it earlier. It's not my script.
Yeah, cool.
So if you max out your relationship with Lune, you can go and visit. You go to this part of the Serene Island because Lune figures out that that's where her mum and dad went because they were on an expedition, and it's where they died. So you take her there. She gets closure. She finds the bodies. It's nice.
Okay.
She says goodbye to them.
So that's why we have like a loose connection between Lune and
That's
Serene.
close as I could possibly say to why she's personally affected by Serene, because it's that location.
Okay. Cool.
But yeah. Cool. Okay. One last stop. Verso's Drafts, the DLC. The real life Verso. Actually, Neil, what are you looking at?
God damn. We are looking at what I can only assume is the canvas before his mother affected it. This seems like a childlike version of the canvas where it's all we're in the world, bright neon colors, lollipops flying through the sky.
Yeah.
We can see the face of our best wine bag in the background. I mean, it just seems kaleidoscopically childish and colorful and wonderful.
So the real life Verso, as we've discussed, did not love painting. He wanted to be a musician, but to gain his mother's approval, he gave it the old college try. This lost in the memory of the canvas are his early drafts and ideas. This was a land he played in as a child, his escape, and as our Verso says, no sisters allowed. Although we learned that they did come, and sometimes he let them into play. It's like his bedroom, his painting bedroom.
Hilarious.
Because Mael's like, no, I used to come, and it was great. We had a great adventure. Esquie muses. Last time I was here, I was a small Esquie. It's a vibrant, colorful, sugary world. Here, Gestrals bathe in swimsuits or play games together. Despite himself, our Verso softens as we explore. He knows this place intimately, sharing memories with his counterpart, but he never visited himself, never got to feel the luscious grass under his feet or smell the lollipops. A choo-choo train flies across the sky, taking you to a mysterious mountain. Inside that, you can just run it. There's all sorts of nonsense
for anyone
here.
looking around, the choo-choo train, which is the train engine carriage here, which I'm assuming is life-sized, and you get into it, is it's a model train. It's a little tin model train that a child would have in their bedroom.
It's dead cute. And you can lose hours in this. This was a free DLC they added in. It's just this one little level. You don't learn much. It's just a fun, happy time. You do side quests. You do little mini games. There's one thing that happens here that I'm about to tell you about the story. So you get into the train. The train takes you up to a mysterious mountain. Inside that mountain is the root of all evil, the second hardest boss in the game, and Esquie's nemesis. We are the Warriors of Legend, the party calls out as they enter the mountain. We are here to challenge the dastardly Oskio, most villainous of all villains. Thum! He emerges from beneath a great pool of water.
It's a tortoise. Oh, wow.
Oskio,
a dark, malevolent mirror of our beloved Esquie. Gasp. Cousin, Esquie calls. I missed you. Cuckoo, Oscio rumbles, waving quickly before returning to his villainous persona. You stand before Oscio, ruler of all trains and ultimate cake eater of the universe. I will defeat you, hooligans. Hooligans? Smile chuckles. I see you're friends with Francois. Never, Oscio shouts. He is an Esquie lover. Why were you under the water? Esquie asks. Holding my breath for as long as possible. My record is 5,000 years. Oh, good job, Esquie says. Mine is 6,000 years. You're ruining this, Oscio roars. Warriors of legend, prepare for annihilation!
I love him.
Yeah. So like fire bursts in, we hear like a electric
that
guitar.
stupid wrestling belt.
So good. Yeah, love this. Oh, Francois, sorry, I've not put this in. We talked about Francois earlier, Esquie's little rock buddy. Francois loved Clair. He just loved Clair. And you can go back and get like a little rock for him and help him out, and the rock's in the shape of like him and Clair together. The implication is that he is one of Clair's creations, and he just loves Clair. Also might explain why he's a bit of a prick if he's on Clair's team. But yeah, just wanted to toss that in. He cries and stuff as you leave when you give him the rock. You just hear him go like a really ugly cry. Okay. Prepare for annihilation. No, Oscio, Verso says, putting on a voice. It is you who shall be annihilated. Prepare to do battle, for we are the warriors of legend. The fight is long and hard. Oscio does not obey the laws of reality. He turns the camera upside down, he's completely immune to some attacks, and even when you get his health to 0, he has a fuck you one-hit kill attack you need to parry before it's over. Spoilers, be ready for that if you play the game. Because you got me. It got
You
me
ranted
mad.
to me about it, yes.
Oh, I was so mad. Foiled again, but you will never be a musician, Oscio says. You have no choice but to paint. If you don't mind, Verso says to the team, Esquie and I'll finish this adventure. Side note, Monoco is very upset that he doesn't get to eat his foot. We see him having a tantrum in the background as we defeat him. Pow! Bang! Whack. Verso and Esquie take out the root of all evil and send it back to the depths he came from.
Cute.
He flips us off as he sings. I'm glad I got to experience that for myself. Verso smiles sadly, looking out across the pool. He sees a fading ghostly image of a boy watching him.
Oh, God.
Thank you, he whispers.
Oh, God.
That's the real Verso there, the soul of him. Right, loose ends tidied up. Let's finish this.
No. You forgot the best part
Yeah, hit me.
of this is the greatest cosmetic of all time, which I don't know if you have a picture of.
No, I don't.
You can get Esquio and Esquie outfits for them.
Wow.
Which include when you run with the Esquie one, you fly and you have like rainbows like flying behind you. Or actually, that's with the Oscio one, and with the Esquie one, you get down on all your like hands, like all fours, and you like run like an animal, which is how Esquio runs when you're in the map.
God.
It's great. It's great.
Part 13. Tomorrow comes. The team return to Lumiere, a frantic charge to the ruins of what was once the expedition's home. Tomorrow comes, Mael calls, and she orders the ghosts of other expeditions to charge. So there was a montage where effectively they just, to the Clair Obscur, beautiful song, which spoils the entire plot twist of the
Excellent.
game. Yeah, if you understand French, it just tells you everything. The open world tells you everything that's going on.
A lot of Canada was presumably English-speaking Canada was pissed when this game came out.
It's like, this is a painted world. Nothing is real. Mael's got white hair. There's a great cosmetic where you can make Verso's hair white. You can change his hair to be all white. It stops dyeing it. It's fun. Yeah, it's cute. And also, you get Gustav's haircut for Verso as well. And earlier, you guys were talking about how they do look a little bit similar. If you give him Gustav's hair, it is pretty difficult to distinguish, which is fun. So there's a montage where the gang visit old locations. They basically go to where all the previous expeditions were. It's a cinematic montage, and where Mael effectively like takes the chroma from their bodies. At the beginning, I told you that if you're killed by Neveron, the chroma stays in. Mael's able to retrieve it all. So she now has the power to try and, properly fight. And she brings them back almost like as spectral forms.
Yeah, we've got a kind of ghostly army almost of the previous expedition members behind them.
Yeah, it's really good. Tomorrow comes, Mael calls, and she orders the ghosts of other expeditions to charge. They whirl through the creatures under Renoir's control, cutting them down with a quick sheer force. At the base of the melted Eiffel Tower, Renoir waits. Papa, please, Mael says quietly. I just want you to understand what this canvas means to me. I do understand, Renoir says sadly. I know how powerful and intoxicating it is, how deeply attached we can become to the worlds we pour our hearts and souls into. I was enthralled, and it nearly killed me. It doesn't mean you have to erase Verso's canvas. Child, do you think I want to? After all the sorrows we've endured, do you really think that I want to destroy this last piece of his soul? Life keeps forcing cruel choices. We do what we must. Grief often blinds us, Ciel nods, and we make choices we often can't take back. Renoir looks at her knowingly. You grieve for two. Ciel shakes her head. I grieve for many. Luné puts a hand on Mael's shoulder. The choices of parents leave indelible marks upon their children, but ultimately, the voices in their head have to be their own. You cannot set the boundaries of their life for them. After the fire, you wanted me to find new joy in life, Mael says. I tried, but I couldn't. Verso died because of me. How do I get from that to joy? It will get better, Renoir says, clacking his cane into the cobbles. Knock. Your friends speak truth, but it changes nothing. You can hate me, but that's a choice I must make. As your father, I must look out for you. Mael's eyes well up in frustration. You treat me as if I'm still 5. I treat you, Renoir snaps, as if the shadow from the worst day of our lives is going to suffocate you and take you from us too. Nobody speaks. Renoir's words hang in the air, deafening any further chance of debate.
It's a wonderful story when you can fully put yourself in the shoes of both sides and justify it in some sense or another. Why Renoir obviously wouldn't want his daughter to be stuck here. Of course. He's seen it happen with his wife. Why, from the other side, Renoir is proposing a genocide of all life. You know.
And the idea is that, Mael is openly telling him, it's like, this is the option of like leaving the canvas and visiting again and stuff like that. That is not really an option, and Renoir understands that. He's seen it with his wife. You will just live here and be drained. Your soul will just pour into the canvas, and in the real world, I will never see you again. And that is awful. It's terrible.
You can come visit her anytime. She's happier here.
Yeah, but also we know what they look like in the real world, that painted, drained version. Their souls are literally leaking out of their bodies and into the paint. Is that any way to live? And is it any way to handle your grief? Questions. The disaster expedition draw their weapons. As if he's ashamed of what he's about to do, Renoir dons his illusion as the curator, hiding behind a mask. Real Renoir makes painted Renoir look like child's play. His gimmick is that a lot of his attacks are delayed, so which happens with a few bosses, but it's like almost all of his. So you will dodge his initial strike just for the aftermath to blow you away.
Well, I'm gonna love him, aren't I?
He's a difficult fight.
It's all the things I complain about.
He summons the Axons, which return to back him up. Most notably, the dancer keeps healing him. Monoco whirls his staff through the air and roars, I do love a challenge, but this is beginning to irk me. And then, just as everyone is catching their breath, a rumble. A portal whirls open in the sky, the world bleeds monochrome, and a figure comes blasting out of it. Mael's eyes widen. Mother?
Oh.
Renoir was right. Mael achieved nothing by hiding the canvas in the real world. Aline found it almost immediately. Proof in the pudding. She will just keep coming back. She will never stop. Her desperation to be reunited with her son and his creations has overtaken her completely. Aline, no! Renoir roars. You're going to kill yourself! It's too soon for you to return to any canvas! The humongous puppet of the Paintress rises out to the ground and looks down on them. It places a huge hand over the Axon dancer and blasts it, stunning it. And while you're fighting Renoir, this is in the background, just this big mech fight, effectively. It's incredible.
That's really cool.
How can you be this selfish, Aline? Renoir barks. He banishes Aline from the canvas again, but her creation remains. The Paintress's puppet helps the expedition protect the canvas. Renoir is distracted. Now's our chance. During every adventure, every moment, every tear and laugh, the team push Renoir back. Finally, he uses the last of his power to call on a painting of his family. He draws the chroma from it, charging up, and rockets into the air, blasting down to the group. Maëlle leaps up to meet him. Not this time, she shouts, thrusting through his chest, sending him careening to the ground, defeated.
Nice.
Ironic, Renoir pants. Your mother was the one who saved me when I lost myself in the canvas. So there you go. He was the first to go in.
God.
Yeah, he knows what this is like.
But then he is also proof that you can be relieved of the drug that is the canvas.
You can, but what he's saying is, your mother saved me.
Yeah.
And I am trying to save your mother, and she won't let me.
Yeah, I absolutely understand.
But he knows you can. It's just you need that outside influence, and his influence isn't working.
Some people might also consider their being there a sacrifice of their real life to protect the lives of the citizens of this world. You know?
No. If they all left right now, the life in the canvas would just go on.
Okay.
They could have just left Verso's world be.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, they never did. I mean, Aline created the people, the human beings. She created them.
But I suppose as a defense against Renoir, if one of them is here, Renoir, will have a harder time, which is what the Paintress was doing in the first place.
Yeah. It's all incredibly grey and complicated and messy and horrible and yeah. So, yes, your mother, me, when I lost myself in the canvas, she taught me how to safely use our gift, how to soar without flying too close to the sun. He turns away from the expedition and reaches a hand out to the Paintress's puppet. Sadly, she reaches out in kind. We painted hundreds of canvas worlds, pushing the very boundaries of creation, and she never let me forget that every day we spent here has a price. Yet here we are now. Destroying the canvas won't help us move on, Maëlle says. It'll just destroy the one place that helped us feel again. Do you know why I cannot leave her or you behind? Renoir coughs. He slams his cane into the ground and a window opens. We see Aline emerging from the canvas, coughing, sobbing, a shadow of her former self. This is what I see every day, he says through gritted teeth. I cannot spend another day living with corpses. Such a good line. Aline in the canvas, Clea fighting her solitary war. You, he looks at Maëlle, a living ghost. I cannot lose you too. Don't you see? Maëlle gestures at her friends. No, her new family. That's how I feel about them. Understanding dawns on Renoir. I'm not leaving you forever, Maëlle cries, approaching. Just a little longer. Renoir pulls Maëlle close, knowing that he's lost the fight, and decides to trust in her to know what's best. I'll keep the light on for you, he says. I hope you find peace. Hold on to each other. And with that, he peels away into petals, exiting the canvas.
Oof.
Through all of this...
That did feel very easily convinced at the end there. Had his whole big rant and then she went, yeah, but I'm good. And he went,
he's just resigned to the fact. Like, I mean, he can't fight anymore. I don't give it justice. He's battered and bruised and bloodied. He can't do it. He can't fight anymore. And it's like I have really no option other than
my daughter is as stubborn as me. Shit.
Yeah. It's not even like this. It's just this build up of years and years of like knowing this deep down that he won't be able to stop her, and eventually he just gives up. Which it just happens. Sometimes you just give up on an argument.
Yeah.
I've had that a lot today. Through all of this, Verso has watched on wordlessly, something ticking away in his mind. He approaches the window showing Aline's suffering, touches it with his hand, and realizes it's not a window, it's a portal to the heart of the canvas. Verso? Lune asks. He looks back with sadness in his eyes. I'm sorry. He steps through.
Wait.
Swirling gradients of paint. Do you know this, Chase?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I've got no clue.
Yes. Swirling gradients of paint stain the sky in here. An eternal eclipse watches over a small figure of a boy slowly painting. The last piece of Verso's soul. The thing that gives life to the canvas. Hi, Verso says softly. The boy looks at him. You're tired of painting, aren't you? The boy nods. Just like the curator, just like the paintress, his face is missing. I'm tired too. Footsteps. Mael has followed Verso into the heart. Just Mael. Why did you run in? Mael asks. It's dangerous for you here. Verso replies absently. You lied to your father. He knew you'd never leave here, but he wanted to believe. The moment I leave, Papa will erase the canvas, Mael explains. I have to stay.
That's what I meant about the sacrifice, by the way.
Yes.
It's Renoir that will destroy it.
I
if
see.
They leave almost.
Yeah, the second, that's the last blockade. You're totally right. Yeah. Sorry, good point. This is not worth your life. What life? My life of loneliness in a shell of a body with no voice and no future? Here I have a chance to live, Verso, to live. Out there I barely exist. Verso looks at the small boy in the ground. Life keeps forcing cruel choices. Stop quoting Papa! Verso somberly ignores her, walks to the boy and holds out his hand. It's time to stop painting. Mael steps between them, sword drawn. If Verso kills the soul, the canvas will automatically be erased. She knows he's tired. She knows he wants to die, but she can't let him do it. Verso slowly looks at her, shoulders slumped, dozens of years weighed on his back, and cries a single tear as he pulls out his sword. Decide the fate of the canvas.
Oh shit, wow. I didn't know that this was it. I thought the Renoir fight was the end of the game.
Do you choose Mael or Verso? I'm only going to show you the ending that you choose.
Jesus Christ.
Previously, for new listeners to Lore Dome, previously when there are multiple endings, sometimes I'll go, yeah, pick your ending and I'll tell you that properly, and then I'll just tell you what else happens. I'm not going to do that today. If you want to see the alternate ending, you can play the game yourself or look it up. Because I realize that when I've given you this choice in the past, the choices have been dampened by the fact to tell you everything. Pick your ending.
We have a really brilliant dilemma here, which is that both versions of Verso, the painted version we've known and this fragment of the child that is painting this whole world, both want to die, both want to stop. However, dependent on this Verso being alive is the lives of hundreds or thousands of humans and a whole world and ecosystem of other species. But we also know that Mael staying here, this is a drug that will drain her in the real world and force this little boy fragment to keep working away at the heart of this world. This is a bastard.
It is a bastard.
It's a tough one where I feel like fighting as Verso is the quote-unquote correct option.
See, I'm feeling Mael.
The creators have said that there is no correct option.
Well, no, I don't care what the creators.
No, I'm just saying that this isn't.
Fuck the creators.
I don't know. That's what I mean. What I mean is that there's no good or bad ending. Kind of, like in classic video game terms. Both I would argue are excellent endings.
I mean, I'm meaning as in fighting as Verso feels like we finally free this tormented soul that has been tormented for ages, and we, in a way, forcibly but kindly make the family move on. Yes. But simultaneously, I feel like it dampens the entire game up to this point.
And Luna and all your friends die immediately.
Yes. Mael is my choice.
Yeah.
I just don't know whether it is the quote unquote
I want to do Mael.
Let's go Mael.
Let's do that.
Yeah, I'm great on that.
It's so interesting that you're both so aligned on Mael.
I'm not 100%. That's what I mean. It is so, it's sort of soul-rending. Yeah. But I personally think that all the lives of those people, the game has shown us, if nothing else, that they are real. They are alive.
Yeah.
It's a really weird one because you don't fix any of the actual Dissandra family problems by doing the Mael ending.
No.
You force this child to be an unwilling god with the Mael ending. But if you don't go for the Mael ending, the entire game feels a bit hollow. So it's a bit weird.
Verso more important than Lumiere, than the citizens of Lumiere, just because we know him.
Well, just because he's gone through eternal torment and damnation.
100%.
And it's about suffering.
Is that worth more than a whole world?
Well, it's utilitarianism kind of unpacked, isn't it? Because you've got the many in case of the few, but you've also got the mass amount of suffering compared to.
I
the
get
minimum
annoyed by
amount of
utilitarianism for a number of
that's
reasons.
fair.
But
But
we are
that's the
talking about
question. That's the moral question.
we are talking about a whole world against one person.
Yeah.
It's if it's utilitarianism, it's a silly example. It's writ large. It's
No, but we're talking about the level of suffering. Like Verso's suffering by staying alive will be more than the suffering of everybody that dies.
He has suffered a lot. He has not suffered so far an inhuman amount. He is, for all intents and purposes, a real person who has lived 100 years. He's not in hell being tortured. He has things in his life that bring him pleasure and joy. And I think the contention, the estimation that if he stays alive, it's an eternal torment. Yeah, it's a guess. It's a guess we make based on what he's told us. Probably isn't going to be a happy lad. I'll give you that. But
And of course, bear in mind that Verso's ending brings peace to the Dissandra family,
of course,
who will also endure eternal torment, but the canvas
assumes that we're making the estimation that those lives are more valuable than the lives in here, inherently, which I think is disingenuous to the arcs and the stories and the loves and lives and losses of the people we've met.
Yeah, I'm playing devil's advocate. I picked
I know
my
you
own.
are.
I
Yeah,
picked my
yeah,
own.
yeah,
Yeah, I did
Have
pick
you
my own.
also considered, and stick with me here, fuck the Dissandras.
They are God killing, God family, and we love killing gods. So
Fuck the Dissandras, except for Mael.
sure.
I
Okay.
don't count.
But
Verso
they're
as a
all
Dissandra.
very sad. Just
Yeah.
normal people that
Yeah,
just
they
had a
are.
horrible
They're
tragedy
complicated.
that
Nah, fuck
messed
them.
them up.
Okay. I think we're aligned.
Mael's ending
Sadly,
them.
we are sadly. We don't feel good about it, but we're aligned.
Cool. I thought that would be a bigger fight, but that's fair enough. Mael's ending. Both Verso and Mael hold back with their first attacks, but the fight is swift and furious. Verso, stop! Mael shouts as her sword clangs off of his. You can't just decide for everyone! We're all hypocrites, Verso mutters, doing the same thing to each other. Ciel was right. Grief blinds us. All you see are walls! He lashes out with his sword, but Mael dodges it. Before she even realizes what's happened, her sword has pierced his heart. The light flickers in his eyes. He's not dying. He should be so lucky. Soon, he'll simply reappear in the canvas, forced to live. Forced to go on and on and on until the world eventually ends.
Sad.
Verso, I just wanted to live this lifetime together, this lifetime that was stolen from us. Please, brother, please, please. Alicia? Verso gasps as he fades away. I beg you, stop him from painting. Please, only you can do it. Please, unpaint me. Please, please unpaint me. I don't want this life. I don't want this life. Please unpaint me. Please, I don't want this. I don't want this. He repeats the phrase over and over and over as Mael holds him close. Eventually, he's gone. World saved. But at what cost? We cut ahead to some time later, and we see the Lumiere that the Paintress Mael has envisioned. A theatre in the centre of the city. Tonight is a show. Everyone's coming. The expedition are here, including Esquie. We see that Mael made good on her promise. Everyone she could bring back, she brought back, painted into the world. Gustave is there with Sophie. Ciel's husband sits laughing with her and Lune. Mael enters the auditorium, and Lune beckons her over. We see she's holding hands with a young boy. Soon, the show begins. The world turns monochrome. A man sits on stage at a grand piano as applause greets him. Verso. The music falls away as he stares at the keys, hands raised, preparing to begin. All we hear is his heavy breathing, a mixture of frustration and anxiety, helplessness. He looks out into the audience, and we see Mael's true face, what she's become from living so long in the canvas. A painted shadow of her former self. Slowly her skin is starting to transform into paint, just like how her parents looked from spending so long in the real world. She beams at Verso, a big, encouraging smile. Verso turns back to the keys, with a deep sigh, starts to play. Credits.
Grim. This is what I meant.
Very grim.
This is what I meant by I think Verso is the correct quote-unquote ending.
You've damned Mael to an entire life where she will eventually turn into the curator and the paintress.
Yeah, I mean, Mael knew this. You make it seem like we made the decision. This was Mael's motivation.
Mael knew
this
that.
Mael convinced us, not the other way around.
But how demented by grief is Mael in her choice to stay in the canvas? You know, is she just repeating her mother's mistakes?
We knew exactly what would happen here.
But does Mael?
But
Does she rationally understand?
She has all the same evidence we does and is a damn sight smarter than we are. We can assume she has all the information, but it doesn't change any of our justifications.
I think by the time you get to this point as well, she's a Mael with the entire life experience of Alicia, who has the full understanding of what it means to be a paintress and the full training. So yes, she does understand.
Okay, that's fine.
And even then, it just
idea.
comes down, I think, to basic, the basic question: did we consider these people people?
To which I think the answer is hopefully yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, I didn't do my job well.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Like it's a grim ending. I don't inherently regret choosing it, but yeah,
It is. Yeah, it's really upsetting. Yeah.
yeah.
But,
I feel like the way they framed it paints it as nobody wins. When realistically, like.
Nobody wins.
They have focused. Well,
all the citizens of Lumiere win.
Well, they win.
Like,
They
the
win.
two
people lose, and everyone else wins.
And as we said, fuck
Including
the
all the
Dissandras.
dead people who get to come back to life.
Yeah, as we said, fuck the Dissandras. Yeah, I'm really curious. And this isn't answered. What Esquie and Monoco think about this? Because obviously they're seeing their bestie tormented in hell.
Well, Monoco's painted to be loyal, and as Monoco kind of questions and that. It's a brief scene, but he
is
does
not
question it.
Painted to be loyal to Verso?
Verso.
Yeah.
And Verso is Verso. He's a facsimile, but he's Verso. Just, the same way that Renoir
That's
is.
why they were immediately pals for life.
Yeah. And Esquie, Esquie, I don't know.
Esquie does his
Who knows
thing.
what he thinks?
Esquie is certainly Esquie.
Yeah. He's just excited for more adventures with his friends.
I thought this was a beautiful and thought-provoking tale. And I think the fact that it has prompted so much moral discussion is a compliment to it.
Yeah. It's interesting. So I do want to get your thoughts in a second, Chase, on this, especially now you know how it ends.
Yeah.
But my 2 cents on this is, so Act 3 is so interesting because obviously I bolted a bunch of side stuff into Act 3 when you could just finish the game. And I think that is like masterful. And my logic there is that it's you as the player are kind of put into the same kind of headspace as Mael, rightfully so, which is, no, I want to hang out with these characters. I want to see the wonders of the world more. I want to hang out with them. I don't want to lose. I don't want this to be over. I don't want, because when you stop playing the game, for you in a metatextual way, the canvas is erased and the story's over. But the game, I just love the idea of and here's a bunch of side stuff now. You can finish it if you want to, but if you want to be in this world longer, if you want to be amongst these people longer, that is an option that is open to you, player. And because I'll tell you now, you can beat Renoir without having to go level up on any of the fucking side stuff.
Oh yeah, you literally after you fly away from beyond Esquie, you can go. Actually, no way, Esquie, turn around.
Compared to some of the side quests, Renoir's a fucking pushover. Compared to Simon or Oskio. So what do you think now that you know how it ends, Chase?
Well, first of all, one thing Monty forgot to mention. I've been holding this in. I've been holding this whole time. I've been really holding this in.
This will be important.
There was some boss or something I didn't talk about.
Monty forgot to mention one of the single greatest details of this game. At the Renoir fight in Lumiere at the end, if you go to him and everybody in your party is wearing a bathing suit, he will also be wearing a bathing suit.
Jesus, how could you?
How could you forget that?
Bastard!
That's so important.
You're right. Yeah, it wouldn't have undermined the stakes of the fight at all to have Renoir in a bathing suit.
To be fair, I knew that. I didn't actually know that. I did not actually know the fact that he transformed back to the curator, and I'm really curious whether he just doesn't do that if you're in a bathing suit. I think that'd be really funny. Anyway, unimportant thoughts. I partially agree with you there, but it ultimately all comes back to my thoughts on the structure of this game and why I think this game ultimately falls flat towards the end. Despite all the really, really cool ideas. And it comes down to the lack of confidence from the developers. I don't
think I've played a game that has an ending
No,
more
no,
confident in years.
Let them speak.
Because this is coming directly from developer comments. The developers did not think anybody would finish this game.
Yeah.
They thought you'd get to the Paintress and go, fuck it, I'm done. And so they never, despite all the fact that all the best ideas for this game are in Act 3, they went, shit, nobody's going to play this. Fuck. Yeah, you can actually just beat the game right now. Which robs so many cool ideas. It robs so many cool character development moments. The fact that the Reacher is not mandatory is baffling to me.
The what? The what, sorry?
The Reacher isn't mandatory. No.
Well, the Alicia...
no understanding of Cleo is mandatory. That's baffling to me.
Why?
Because they're so core and important to the story and to these characters, and you can get to the end here and have no understanding of such vital things to the story.
I sobbed like a baby, and I didn't even know you could go to Alicia and Cleo on my first playthrough.
Yeah,
I got to the ending, and I was like, oh my god, this is game of the year. And then I went, oh my god, there's like a third of the game left to play
and then you go, oh wait,
That's exciting.
Alicia's kind of floating out in the vein. We forgot about her.
No, because it would impact the pacing. You've got Renoir going, I'm at Lumiere, come and fight me when you're ready. And if the game went, we've got to go deal with some side stuff, that'd be annoying.
That's my thing. I don't think he should have said that. He only said that because the developers didn't have confidence that people would finish the game.
No, because regardless of whether you're the first person to say developer intention doesn't matter when you're looking at art.
Well,
the third act of the game is structured in a way where it's up to you,
and I think that it should be that,
and that puts the onus on you and the power in your hands as a player.
But the third act inherently isn't narrative because of the way they've structured it. It's not narrative.
It is narrative,
and there's bits and pieces that absolutely let's like have more expansion content that I can go and spend 500 hours with characters, but. I think that like the perfected version of this game for me, Act 1 is half its length. He dies, Gustav dies pretty upfront.
So you don't get all of that time to really invest in Gustav. So the death doesn't...
Gustav doesn't matter in the end.
But he does matter, though. He is Mael's driving force. It is her entire characterization. And you also have talked about on this lore dump that Gustav's death is a gut punch. That gut punch vanishes if you don't spend enough time with him.
No, there's a lot of blood in Act 1.
No, I disagree.
There's a lot of act.
There's a lot of setup, a lot of explanation.
But much of it could be condensed. And then you expand out Act 3, make more of it mandatory, still keep a lot of expansion content that fleshes out characters and worlds and stuff. Like, I'm not saying things like, going to Serene's Island with Lune needs to be mandatory. But, like, at bare minimum, stuff surrounding the Dishonored family, and especially if they want to continue this world out beyond this into future Clair Obscur games, I just think that they didn't nail the landing for me on this one. Now, don't get me wrong. I think this is a phenomenal first outing for a new game studio, and I think this is a phenomenal start to a world. But I think that I would like to see them, now that they know people will finish their games, actually make what feels like a completed product.
I hate doing lore dumps of games you've played. What did you think, Neil?
I think I've said everything I wanted to say about it, to be honest.
Did you think it felt bloated? Or like Act 1 felt bloated?
I can't.
I know you haven't played it.
Because I haven't played it.
It's also a bit difficult because you cut zones that you thought weren't more important.
I mean, I didn't just reduce them to story stuff, which is just video game things. I'm not going to describe he jumped on a box, then he fought another Nevron.
No, but that's my point, is you cut entire zones that contribute to what I'm calling bloat.
No, because on those zones, there's character beats, which I've put into the lore dump, which is just surrounded by gameplay, because it's a video game. Like, the duelist boss fight I cut. Okay, that's just a boss fight. It's a cool boss fight. I had fun. But it's not relevant to the lore dump, and that in the moment, that doesn't feel like gameplay bloat.
Don't get me wrong. I agree. Cut it for the lore dump. Fair enough. But I'm saying that this is what I meant by saying you can condense Act 1 to give more space to Act 2 and 3.
I thought it was really good. And I liked that it was about art and that it was like meta almost, actually. Yeah.
I think you will really, really enjoy it. Neil went off and bought this over lunch.
I did.
Neil pulled a me. I think you said you were going to start it tonight.
I did, and it's downloading right now onto the PlayStation.
You will really enjoy it.
Yeah.
I know you will. It is
because it's got lots of haircuts and costumes.
It is a very, very good game. It's a very, very good, like, for as much as I have issues, it is a very, very good game.
Yeah.
It is deserving of most of its praise that it gets.
I love that this game's entire theme is that art is not an escape from grief. And we have, all three of us, have played into purposefully ignoring that message because we like the people of Lumiere and we think that their lives are important. And that's not a criticism. I just think that's interesting that that's the game's entire message. But its emotional writing and its character-driven writing is so compelling that it makes you look past that theme and ignore it as the warning sign that it is.
It's difficult. It's difficult when you've got a wonderful thematic through line like that. Like you've just summarized beautifully there, art is not an escape from grief. But then this is a magical world where real people exist in the paintings.
The art has sentience.
You can't apply logic to themes the whole way through, can you? You can have it be about something and have it not track completely one-to-one. But it is beautifully told. I really like the the versions of the characters we got today. I'm excited to have all of the optional dialogue with them that I'm sure we've missed here and there. Little bits and bobs haven't think.
All right. Anyway.
Put your thoughts in the comment. Tell me or Monty why one of us is wrong.
And who
I'm
did you
sure
choose?
one of us is wrong.
Because whoever gets the most votes is now the leader of Florida.
choose the Monty ending, or choose, are you fighting as Monty or are you fighting as Chase? Choose your ending. You do not get to see the
Or are
ending.
you on your phone like Neil?
You do not get to see the other end.
And of course, like and subscribe. And here's a
Please.
little tease for what comes next.
Your journey was hard. Drink.
Oh.
What did you think of that tease?
We back.
You're the dumper. Anything to comment on?
Jen takes drugs in this one.
Great. We're going to say goodbye.
Gin and
Bye-bye.
drugs.
Bye.